Pizza and Health Texas proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.
Guys, welcome back to another fun-filled edition of War Week Radio. Happy Sunday to everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed all the fights this weekend on Friday and Saturday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. But guys, if this is Sunday, well, first of all, let's introduce the hardest working man within the business of boxing, and I'm talking about the best young journalist in the sport, the incomparable Young Billionaire. How you doing, Young Bill?
Awesome, man. Always great to be joined by the legendary Coach Gogue.
Guys.
What up, Young Bill?
And guys,
Bill? I'm legendary because I put up with a lot of shit over the last 30 plus years in this fucking
and you still live to tell about it. But guys, if it's Sunday, that means we're seeking the counsel. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever the fights take place, the first thing I think of is, geez, I wonder what Coach Gogue's going to say about it. That's what makes Sunday night so special. Here he is, 5-decade fight trainer, the incomparable Coach James Gogue. James, how are you doing this weekend, sir?
Hey, yeah, fights were, was nothing exciting, except that fight Friday night was pretty good. The one between that Puerto Rican guy, Miguel Cotto's guy. What's his name?
Oh, Zorilla, and Arnold Barbosa.
Yeah, that was a good little scrap, and that was about it. And the Golden Boy fights were terrible, man. Did you see that first fight of the Golden Boy card, the undercard? Oh, Jesus, man. Where the fuck did they get that guy? The guy went out there and blew him 2 kisses and hit him with a body shot, and the guy fell down and quit.
Yeah, honestly, that was...
Coach, what did he blow? He blew what?
He blew him 2 kisses, then he hit him with a body shot, and the guy went down and quit. What the fuck was that about, man? Jesus. That was terrible.
Oh, boy. We're starting early on Sunday, guys. But I tell you what, before we move forward, guys, and once again, we're gonna ask Coach Gogue to give us a brief preview of, now has become one of the more anticipated fights of 2022. And I'm talking about Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, who was successful in his campaign last night. But guys, before we move forward and get the coach's reaction and his thoughts on that matchup, let's give a shout out to several of our friends in the chat currently. Mini Meal, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining us this Sunday. And Big Smoke, good evening to you, my friend. And Antonio Luna, I'll bet you can't tell me where that theme music came from, that intro of the show. I know you can. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Jesus M. Saludos, Coach and Joe. Ryan is in a tough 140-pound division. I don't see him beating Matias, Taylor, Zepeda, Jose Ramirez, and Regis Prograis. Well, you didn't mention Teofimo Lopez or Gervonta Davis. I don't see him beating those guys either, but we'll see what the coach thinks. Also want to give a shout out to El Pinche Punch. Yes, this is a sweet amber evening. Thank you for mentioning it, sir. Thank you for joining us. Also want to give a shout out to Peter Monarchs. Good evening, Joseph and Coach Gogue. Good evening to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to my brother John McSmith. Shout out to Halftime Pizza in Health Texas for bringing us War Week Radio Network live around the world with Big Joe Heron and the legendary straight shooting boxing master, Coach James Gogue.
What up, John?
Thank you, Mr. McSmith. We appreciate your support always, my friend.
Straight shooting is an understatement.
Yeah.
He's a marksman.
He's a sniper. I want to give a shout out to our brother Sean. What's up with you, brother? Thank you for joining us tonight, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Jonathan Simon, Joseph, Coach Gogue, and Young Bill. Blessings and much love to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us, sir. I tell you what. So, Coach, one more. Let's give a shout out to our brother Juice. Salute Joe, Coach, and Young Billionaire in chat. Excited for this live chat. We're excited that you're here, my friend. Thank you for joining us. So, Coach, before we get started, let's get everyone recapped on what went down last night. Ryan Garcia, boy, he was fortuitous or prophetic He gave Javier Fortuna the beating he promised he would last night. The hard-hitting lightweight contender dropped Fortuna 3 times, once apiece in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, on his way to a 6th-round knockout in the main event. DAZN stream from the Crypto.com arena. Referee Jerry Cantu counted out Fortuna after Garcia sent him to the canvas a 3rd time with a left hook to the temple 19 seconds into the 6th round. After the fight, Garcia said this. He said, "I know that I performed well myself. I know that I was crisp. I was sharp. I stated my truth. I didn't do anything crazy. I know how good of a fighter I am. I just had to put it all together. You've seen that come together today. I mean, the fight speaks for itself. I don't need to say anything. You've seen how I fought." End quote. Starting to sound a little like Floyd Mayweather there, isn't he? Coach, your thoughts on Ryan Garcia's performance last night, and do you regard this as the toughest test to date and his most impressive performance to date?
He did. Remember last week, Joe, I said it was there's a reason why they selected Fortuna. He did what he's supposed to do, okay? That guy, he's an opponent now, okay? He was not a threat coming in. All right. I mean, a big threat coming in, And Ryan, he boxed smart. He used his footwork real well, moving out of range every time Fortuna tried to throw that land that big straight left hand. He kept on moving in and out of range the first 3 or 4 rounds just to confuse him. Okay. So Fortuna couldn't time him when to throw that left hand. Then when you do it at enough, okay, when you're moving out of range, in and out of range, when you're trying to throw that left hand, you're not going to hit the guy. You're not going to hit Ryan. So as the rounds go on, it's going to make you hesitant to throw it because, you're telling yourself, man, I tried it 4, 5, 6 times and I can't hit the guy because he's going to move out of range. Then that's when Ryan started settling in the pocket. He wasn't moving out of range. He was set there and, like when he caught him with that first knockdown, was it a left hook? Yeah.
A left hook to the liver. Left hook to the liver. Yep.
Okay, that was left hook to the liver, but God, he was catching him with some clean shots once he started staying in the pocket and not moving, moving out of range. Then that last combination, 6th round, the 1-2 hook, that was a final nail in the coffin. But my prediction last week was 6 rounds, wasn't it, Joe?
Yep, 6 rounds on the dot, sir.
And the left hook would be
the coup de grace.
Because I thought he would be able to hit Fortuna with that left hook, but it was.
Well, Coach, and once again, and as impressed as we always are week after week that you always get these calls right. Odds makers, the Vegas betting odds listed Ryan Garcia as a 12-1 betting favorite.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't too tough to call. Not this one, anyway. This wasn't Crawford Spence, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
This was a setup fight, okay? When you're a big ticket seller like Ryan, the place wasn't sold out. It was half filled. Was it, 10,000, say?
Well, I'll tell you. I've got the exact numbers from a friend of mine who actually worked the event, right? He 11, said that and the Golden Boy announced on Press Row that the attendance was 11,288. Mm-hmm. So they didn't even open up the upper deck, right?
What was the paid attendance? And
I'm not going to find that out until Monday, sir.
That don't mean shit. They have 11,000, but they gave away 3,000 free tickets, all right?
Well, look, Rick Morones, right, of TMB Promotions. He was bragging on social media that he was giving tickets away electronically from the luxury of the couch of his home. So he was told to paper the place. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually
what fight was this?
Garcia Fortuna.
Rick was told to paper the place. Rick's in San Antonio. How can
That's right. Well, it's done electronically now. You just send it to their phone via email.
No shit, man. I didn't know that. Really?
Yep. That's right. Very few paper tickets are distributed these days. Most of the time it's done electronically.
Rick was given permission to do that?
Yep. That's what he was told to do.
But okay. So see, Rick's getting pretty, and he's getting in bed with most of those, the shot callers and everything.
Now it's because he knows how to sell the event. He's really turning into an excellent promoter and matchmaker.
So they told him to paper it, give free tickets away to make it look good.
Yep. And I'm sure he's not the only one that was asked to do that. So there it is.
Exactly. Hell, man, Oscar could have called me, man. I would have fucking got online and you want a free ticket? Send me $10 for my time. I'll send you the free ticket. Shit.
Oh boy! So here's the $1 million question for Coach Gogue at this time, right?
I didn't know that,
Coach.
Joe.
Yep. Technology, brother. I tell you what, and it's funny. So here's the $1 million question. This is one that's been on the minds of most of our extended War Week family members, right? As well as young Bill, as well as myself. Coach, did you see any improvement in Ryan Garcia's game from his last two outings? And once again, respectively, Emmanuel Tego, and before that, the Brit. I'm sorry, his name eludes me now, young Bill.
Campbell.
Luke Campbell, former Olympian. Yes. Have you seen any improvement since pairing with Joe Goosen?
Honestly, you can't see improvement in the fighter unless he has somebody that's going to give him resistance, real professional resistance. And this guy wasn't much, man. He came to get his probably came to get his last payday. Okay, when did this guy last fight? Before Ryan Garcia. All right, they probably called him up. Hey, man, get out of get your butt in the gym, lose some weight, and you're gonna get a payday. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you know what Tim Bradley had to say about it. Excuse me. Desert Storm actually said, man, that guy just showed up to get a payday.
I said the same thing, didn't I? Did I say the same thing, Joe?
Yes, you did, sir.
Okay, I didn't even know Bradley said that. You know what, man? Me and kind of Bradley, we think alike and everything about boxing, He can see it, man. Real boxing people could see it, okay? Yeah, he showed up just to get his ass, to make his bank account fatter. He probably spent all his money and was broke and needed another payday.
You think he spent half of his check at the gaming tables?
Who?
Fortuna.
He probably bet on Garcia, probably, yeah.
That's hilarious, Coach. Come on now.
I mean, it's not Major League Baseball, man. Major League. I remember one time, man, when my buddies, give you a true story, buddies of mine that they played for the Cardinals back in the days. Fernando Vina and Edgar Renteria. They're all-star.
Ooh. Well, those are great players. Yep.
Yeah, every time they used to come into town when I lived in Houston, I took care of them, go out to dinner and go to the ballpark after we eat. I mean, after lunch, take them out to lunch and go to the ballpark, right before the game and hang out in the dugout. So I got to know one of these guys, man, and the pitchers, and he was pitching that night. He goes, man, I don't feel good at all, man. I just don't feel good. I'm gonna give it my best try. I said to myself, shit, I'm gonna go bet on this game. I'm gonna call somebody, bet on the game. and Fernando and them guys say, man, you can't do that. It's illegal. We do it in boxing all the time. You know what I mean?
Just ask Bernard Hopkins and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. But in baseball, you can't do it. But boxing, you can do it. So that just but the moral of this is, in boxing, you can do it, but baseball, you can't.
I was going to say, moral of the story, that's a poor choice of words when considering boxing.
Yeah. A sport with few morals and scruples. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Peter Monarchs, he's the optimist. He's the glass half full guy. He says Sandoval and Jimenez wasn't bad. The kid from Costa Rica took it. Yes, congratulations to Jimenez for pulling off the upset in the strawweight division.
What division?
The strawweight division. I don't think they even call it that anymore, do they? I'm aging myself, aren't I? Huh?
Is that the 105-pound division?
Yes, that's a 105-pound division. That's right. So Ricardo Sandoval was upset by David Jimenez in the best, most competitive bout of the entire evening on the Golden Boy card. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, if Ricardo Finito Lopez was fighting these
Oh,
days,
jeez.
both of them. He would whoop both of them on the same day. All right.
Oh man, Finito.
That's Ricardo Lopez, though, brother. Come on, that's an all-time great, my friend.
That Ricardo Finito. Oof.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, though. So, so let me get your thoughts. And once again, I want to see if you agree with this, right? So this is what Ryan Garcia had to say the day before the fight, during the weigh-in or after the weigh-in to the media in attendance, because they were asking him about, hey, do you want to fight Devin Haney next? Do you want? And he said, look, he stopped him in their tracks and he said, look. Those belts have no substance. And I'm quoting Ryan now. He said, these belts have no substance. It's like wearing a chain, but it's just not heavy. It's not real. All that matters is you beat the guy that matters, who everyone thinks you can't beat. Then you make a bunch of money. The money lasts, but the belts don't mean a damn thing. We're in this game. It's called prize fighting. It's entertainment. You guys can put so much emphasis on these belts and make millions of comments, but I really don't care about any of that. You can have millions of comments that say, oh, why don't you have a belt? But I'd rather have millions of dollars. I wouldn't be proud to say that I'm undisputed if I beat George Kambosos, and he's referring to Devin Haney now. He says, I'm going to be proud once I beat everyone that matters. That's when I raise my head up high. Everywhere I walk in the streets, not one time do they ever mention Devin Haney, but every day I get mentioned Tank Davis. If you don't think that I want to whoop that man the most so I can get my respect, that's what I'm coming for. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to beat his ass later this year. End quote. Coach, do you like that message that he's sending to the fans, the media, and everyone who's interested?
He's been talking so much shit for years, and he hasn't stepped in the ring to fight nobody. He hasn't stepped in the ring. Until he does it, I'll believe it. Right now, it's just all talking, what do you call it? Hot air. I don't believe it, Joe. I mean, it's a fantasy matchup right now, but I don't think the fight's going to be made, man. Come on, this is the era where fights don't get made. What are the odds of that fight happening when you got Al Haymon and De La Hoya trying to make a fight together?
Oh, shit. On two separate networks.
Yep. That's what I said, man. It's shit. They're fucking these fighters nowadays, man. That's why I'm like, ugh. Don't have an exciting, a high level of enthusiasm for this fucking sport, man. Yeah, these fights ain't made. Remember I told you last week, Joe, this sport's dying. It's a niche sport now in America, okay? Not even in the top 10 most popular sports to watch on TV. Badminton is watched by more people. Is watched by more people than this fucking business. The reason why is the reason why is because of this fucking shit. Okay? Fights, politics, promoters, networks. They what do you mean? They fucking, it's right on stranglehold right now. They're solely sucking air out of this sport. And the blood. They're sucking the blood out of the sport from fans, having them pay for big fights on pay-per-view and everything when they should be on free TV.
Look, Gogue, if the pay-per-view market doesn't improve, okay, over these next few months, well, that's going to be their best option, is to put all of these fights on TV where people can finally see the best product and it's not obscured by the pay-per-view revenue stream. Okay,
or
because
piracy. Like you said, Joe, piracy.
That's the biggest problem concerning the business of boxing at this time. But let's go back to the fight, though, Coach. When you look at punch stats to, support your theory as well as Desert Storm's, Garcia, right? He threw 236 punches, okay? And he landed 79 through 6 rounds, through 5 and 19 seconds. Fortuna attempted 115 punches and only landed 24 through 5 rounds and 19 seconds. What does that tell you, sir?
The guy came to get a payday.
Well, either that or Ryan Garcia has the best defense in boxing.
Like I said, the guy came to get a payday.
So listen to this. So it's funny. And this was written by Dan Canobio of CompuBox, right? He said, Ryan Garcia impresses in a fight with what was supposed to be his toughest test to date in Javier Fortuna. The left hook scored all 3 knockdowns, 1 to the body and 2 to the temple. Garcia outlanded Fortuna 79-24 overall. Were you impressed, sir?
Yo, I'm impressed when somebody is going to give him a good fight and he's got to battle through adversity and he's showing all his skills. Okay, is showing his mental toughness, his resiliency, his boxing IQ, the ability to adapt. Okay, with this, with the skill sets. Okay, I want to see if he has new skill sets. Okay, when he's in a tough fight. Okay, that's when you're gonna know where you see this guy's deficient. His deficiencies when he's in a tough fight and he's not doing certain things because he ain't got the skill sets to do it. Okay. All right. Because when you got the skill sets, when your toolbox is full, okay, and you're smart, you got a high boxing IQ, you know which tool to pull out for the occasion. Okay. You know which tool you need to get the job done. Okay. If this ain't working, I'll get this. I'll get a screwdriver. I'll get a wrench. I'll get a hammer or whatever. You know what I mean? I'll get this socket. You know what I mean? You got all the tools in your treasure chest, and you got a high boxing IQ. You'll know which tool to pull out, okay, to get the job done, to make that to adapt efficiently. And I don't know what this kid has, man. I never seen him in a tough fight. I never seen him in that where he had to bite down. You know what I mean? Don't tell me that Luke Campbell fight. Now, he got his ass knocked down, big deal. But once he got up, and it was pretty much all Ryan Garcia. I want to see him go through 1 round all the way to 12 rounds and see if he can adapt and adjust or have that mental toughness, that mental intestinal fortitude to, what do you call it, dig in, to grind through in a tough fight. I call it being a resilient competitor. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's a resilient competitor because he hasn't been in a tough fight yet. And he's been babied all the way up from since Robert Diaz. Look at this, man. Robert's taking care of him, man, just like he did with Omar Figueroa. All right. He makes sure he gets the right opponent and everything, man.
So, Coach, you don't give him any shot against Tank Davis, huh?
Tank's been tested better. Hey, look, man. I compared Garcia to that Barrios. Similar, okay? Talent-wise, skill-wise, and all that. What did Tank do to Barrios? I think Barrios is more battle-tested than this guy. Barrios, he had to go that, he went through that tough 12-round fight with that Uzbek guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right? Ryan's never been in a fight like that, okay? So I give the edge with Barrios. I think he's a more experienced fighter in tougher fights. This kid hasn't been in a tough fight yet, man. Just Luke Campbell. Nah, as soon as he got up from that knockdown, yeah, it was all him. It wasn't the ebb and flow of the fight wasn't changing through 12 rounds because the fight only lasted 5 or 6 rounds with Campbell. That Barrios boy, he had to go 12 rounds with Tank. Okay, so I look at that similar. Both guys are tall and rangy. You know what I mean? Hard to get to, and Tank had no problem getting to Barrios.
Right.
So, but anyway, yeah, man. Tank's been through a lot tougher fights too. Okay, that fight with Barrios, yeah, he really had to buckle down, bite down.
Also, Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Coach.
Yes, sir. Would have messed up him. Yeah.
Yeah, tough fight with that little what do you call it? That little bull.
Pitbull. Yeah. Now, Coach, since you're a trainer and if you had to prepare for a fighter, between Devin Haney and Tank Davis, who's the tougher style to prepare for as a coach?
Oh, Haney, man, with his man, they're both fucking tough, man. Honestly, they're both fucking tough to prepare for, man. Tank, southpaw style, you know what I mean? But he's shorter. So Ryan could, stay at range and distance and, single shot him, pot shot him, 1 or 2 punches at a time, 2 or 3 punches at a time. You know what I mean? Range and distance. Haney, he's got good reflexes. He's got a quick jab. He's got good footwork. He's pretty smart. He knows how to use his boxing IQ. He understands the distance and range game, like Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford. Okay, you know what I mean? That's a tough fight for Garcia. If Ryan don't catch him and everything, man, they're both tough fights and everything. Who got a tougher style? Ryan's got he's getting familiarity with southpaws now. He fought 2 of them to get him that seasoning he needs. Haney, man, he's gifted. He's talented. Okay, man, that's the game plan for both. They're both tough, man. Yeah, they're both tough, man. They're both tough. Both different styles. Plus, that fucking Tank can hit. Haney can't hit like him. That brings out a different dimension. Okay, that brings out a different factor, important factor. Okay, when you're game planning for a guy like that, man. Me personally, Haney would be because Haney can't hit. There's no fear factor. Okay, all right. There's no fear factor. But
Coach,
when you're fighting Tank, there's that fear factor, respect factor. You don't want to take unnecessary chances to get caught. Yeah.
So, Coach, because Devin and Ryan fought 6 times in the amateurs, and I know amateurs don't really play a major factor in the pros. A lot of people tell me that, but do you think he has more familiarity with Devin Haney, and do you think that would translate and making it? I know it's a while ago, but do you think that has any bearing on a matchup between Haney and Ryan right now?
Only thing they got familiarity is they know what each other looks like. Okay, them guys are, that's all. Devin Haney's improved since the amateurs. Okay.
Yes, he has.
He's grew. His skill sets, his boxing IQ, his physical and mental maturity have blossomed. Okay. Ryan Garcia too. You know what I mean? He's gotten better, but Haney's gotten better, but Haney's gotten a lot better. That's the only thing they got, that familiarity factor is they know what each other looks like. But I don't buy that amateur shit with I fought him in the amateurs and I bought him 3 times. Only one I could say, the 2 people I could say that describe that what you're saying is Vernon Forrest and Shane Mosley. Vernon Forrest had Shane Mosley's number in the amateurs, boy.
Yep.
Boy, that range and distance. Shane
jab.
had a problem getting close to him. He was getting picked apart in the amateurs by Vernon. When they turned pro, I thought Shane got a lot better, and I thought he would beat him. Okay, because I thought he was better. I thought he was a better professional than Vernon Forrest when they fought that night. Because the fight before that, Vernon fought in West Virginia, and in fact, I brought in the opponent at the last minute.
Was that the one that ended on a cut, Coach?
No, the fight before Shane Mosley, he fought in West Virginia. All you fans out there, I'm gonna tell you a little story. I got a call from Lou DiBella. It was like 3 days before the fight. He goes, man, he was freaking out because Vernon was the main event and his opponent fell out. He asked me to help him, and I go, you need an opponent for Vernon at 47? He goes, yeah, man, you got me, but I need somebody. I said, man, I was just talking to somebody earlier, a guy named, I think, Edgar Ruiz. I think that's his name, yeah. And I was talking to his manager. They're looking for a fight. I said, hey, yeah, I got a guy. Let me call this guy. So I called him up. They said, yeah, they'll take the fight. It was like they got paid $17,500. Then I called Lou up. Lou goes, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that's good. So, of course, I told Lou how much I wanted to get paid, and I told him to fly. I told him to fly me in so I could get my fucking money. I didn't want my check was in the mail shit. I want to pick up my cash that day. But anyway, that's how the boxing business is, man. You got money over you.
Especially when Lou DeBella's involved, Coach.
Lou always did me good, man. So he got me
very good.
He got me a hotel and all that shit, and I was stuck in that bumfuck hillbilly town, in West Virginia. Mountaineer Racetrack. That was a casino, but I can't remember that hillbilly town, man. It was a fucking Jesus. It was I was culturally enlightened. I thought I was going to see Jed Clampett and Jethro Bodine of the Beverly Hillbillies there. But anyway, when I got to that day, man, at the weigh-in, I saw Vernon. He goes, "Hey, I want you to juice somebody. This is my new manager." And he goes, I go, "This is Al Haymon." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. First fighter. That was his first fight in the business. Yeah. True story. But anyway, that was I just had to tell you that, man. That was my first experience with Al Haymon. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until Vernon introduced me to him. But what happened was he didn't look good in that fight at all, man. That against Edgar Ruiz, I'm like, oh Jesus. He got hit, when he shouldn't have got hit, and he was rusty as hell. I said, man, Shane Mosley gonna tear his ass up, man. I went to that fight too in New York. Yeah, I went to that fight. I had some business with a promoter there, Cedric, I think, Kushner. Yeah. Anyway, I went there, and man, I was shocked, man. He had his number because I said, man, that's a style that, Shane should avoid guys like Vernon Forrest all day. But go back into Ryan Garcia. Nah, man, Ryan has grew as a fighter, but Javante, because he's had tougher fights. And the way he performed against Mario Barrios, yeah, that tells me, yeah, you think he didn't have a hard time. He had a problem getting to him, but eventually he got to him. Okay, he'll do the same thing with Ryan Garcia. But anyway, yeah, I just had sorry about that. I'm getting off course. I just had
no, it's your show, Coach. It's your show. We love it. We love all the info.
Now he's the fucking most powerful man in boxing. He's one of the top. Yeah.
Indeed. We also want to give a shout out to the top of the mountain. Oh boy.
Want to hear this, Joe?
And then the era of inflated purses begun. Yes, sir.
You want to hear this, Joe?
Let it fly, Coach.
Very ambitious. He was very ambitious to be the top dog, man. His right-hand man, Sam Watson, man. I got to know, I know real good, man. I got to know real good, man. Yeah, I could tell they had that hunger. They wanted to take over, man. They wanted to take over. They were signing everybody. They were getting all the dates on HBO, Telefutura. They were using promoters left and right. Then when they were done with them, they kick them to the side. Gary Shaw,
Warriors boxing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yvonne Michelle.
They were. I could tell they had that hunger and desire to be the Al. He wanted to be the top dog, and shit. Man, he's.
Is he that now, Coach? He's the top dog.
What's that?
One of them.
Is he the top dog now, Coach?
Al?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got 3 top dogs he's got to deal with. Aram and Eddie Hearns.
Yep. Yeah. You mean Oscar's not a top dog?
Yeah.
Oh, look.
All you got to do is look at how much revenue they're bringing in, okay?
Well,
that tells you who the top dogs are.
That's it. And right now, Golden Boy, well, they just got their TV dates back. Give them some time to get back in the game. But last night, well, yeah, congratulations to Golden Boy Promotions and Ryan Garcia. Yeah, $1 million question, Coach. Is Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, is it going to be made? And if you were the Golden Boy Brass, would you try to make this fight happen? Or would you talk Ryan out of it and give him maybe 3 or 4 more fights before you made an honest attempt at putting together Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Man, this is a fantasy matchup, man. Big fights don't get made these days. All they do is hype the fans up. Oh, yeah. And everybody starts gossiping about it. Then it never follows through. I mean, that's the story of Ryan Garcia, okay? I mean, look at him. Look at his career. All again, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. Fight this guy. Then none of them come true. It's all talk, man. It's all bullshit. Okay, so it's not worth fantasizing who's gonna win or this and that. Oscar, I want to make the fight with Al, but Al, I don't think Oscar wants to deal with your ass. You know what I mean? So, man, like I said, boxing is a dying sport. It's on its last breath because big fights like this ain't being made. All right, because of the too many walls, fractions, too much division. Okay, politics, whatever you call it, man. It's a fucking joke, man. It's a fucking joke. And would I love the fight to happen? Oh hell yeah! But do I think this fight's gonna happen? Chances of it happening are like me winning the super lotto, $550 million fucking dollars.
Oh no! I used to love your response when it was slim to none. You would always say, back in the old show, "Yeah, I've got a better chance of getting a date with J-Lo." yeah, that's right. Basically, I do. I got a better chance of getting a date with her than this fight happening. Come on, man. Big fights don't happen nowadays, man. This is a story of boxing. Okay. Second-rated, third-rated fights always get made. Okay, but the big fights don't get made. That's why. It ain't got no fucking fan base, man. I mean, that's why it's losing its fan base. What losing? It's lost its fan base. Fucking badminton is more popularity than us. Oh,
boy. The fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, we'll give a shout out to our brother Pounds. Thank you for joining us, sir. And he says, the upper deck was open, Joseph. I was there. So, Pounds, congratulations. And, brother, you're going to be in the new Creed 3 movie. Because Michael B. Jordan, director and star, he plays Adonis Creed in the trilogy. He was actually in attendance at the Crypto.com arena shooting footage for Creed 3, which is expected to be out and released March 3rd of next year.
Jacob Sisteran's in that movie too. He called me a few months when they were filming it and everything, and he told me he was going to be in that movie. I said, "Oh, good for him." Jacob, he's been in all 3 of those movies and a lot of other boxing movies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, every time he has a gig, they called him, and he works with that. What's that guy's name? Jordan? Is that his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, he works. He's his cut man and all that shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, that Michael B. I honestly, Joe, I've seen one of those Creed movies. I haven't seen the others. So,
they're both great. They're both tremendous. I love them both, and I can't wait to see who the nemesis, the antagonist, is in the third, because they're keeping it very hush hush, right? And I'm a huge movie guy, but El Pinche Ponchas Puro said it was packed to the rafters. He was there as well.
Oh, it was packed all the way. Well, if it was packed to the rafters, let me ask you this: how come they only had 11,000 announced attendance?
That's what I was just going to say.
And another thing,
and once again, the crypto, the Staples Center, the former Staples Center, is a 20,000 seat venue, and they announced an attendance of 11,288. So let me ask you this: if you can actually comment on this, guys, whoever was there.
1 second, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Them 2 guys that went to the fight, they should have given Rick Moronis' phone number next time, so he'll email him a ticket.
Free ticket. Oh, damn, Coach. Yeah. Hey, Coach, what do you think about this? My man Kevin Fuentes says, salute Coach and Joseph. Ryan Garcia is a future pound-for-pound great. Reminds me of Alexis Arguello.
Okay. Sure. Alexis fought everybody. Right? He hasn't fought nobody. Alexis, he fought Oliveras. He fought Chacon. He fought, what's that fucking Escalera. Oh, them are some tough fucking fights. He fought Ramirez, Jose Luis Ramirez, Bobby Chacon, Ruben Oliveras. God, there's a shitload of guys. He fought the Hawk, Aaron Pryor twice. And 2 sizzlers.
Yep.
Okay. He fought Mancini. Shit. He fought Boza Edwards. In fact, I don't want to say it though, man. what Bozo told me about it. He said Alexis hit him so hard, he shit in his pants. He hit him with the body shot so hard, he shit in his pants. The great Bozo Edwards, former WBC junior lightweight champion of the world. He told me that. Man, Alexis fought everybody. Legendary. Had over 80 pro fights, okay? They're comparable. You know, they're tall, lanky, rangy. That's the only thing you can compare him. Until he fights all the badasses Alexis fought in the days, okay? You can't compare him, bro. I'm sick of that shit. These motherfuckers don't understand how great them fighters were in the past. Yep. They used to go 15 rounds, same day weigh-ins, okay? 15 rounds, same day fucking weigh-ins. None of this day in the way before, 40 hours so you could get rehydrated and recover. Them guys only had 8 hours, 10 hours to recover between weigh-ins the same day. And then they went out there and fought some bad just, God, the level of toughness, mental toughness, resilience them fighters had back in the days. Alexis Arguello was man, come on, man. That's like me. That's like me. I'm the next coming of what's that singer's name? Bruno Mars. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean? I'm the next coming up. Coming up. Bruno Mars. Fuck out of here.
Hey, cool. I'll tell you what, though, if they had the same day weigh-ins like this, we wouldn't have a lot of mofos will not be fighting at these weight classes they're fighting at. You'll have a lot more.
No. Ryan Garcia would be a welterweight. Earl Spence would be a fucking middleweight.
Yep.
The Charlos would be super middleweights or light heavyweights.
It's impossible to argue with that. And Sean, our brother Sean, says respect now, but none later. Won't even be a has-been. He'll be a never was. And our brother Big Smoke says Tank knocks his ass out. Yeah, Coach, what say you? Does Tank knock out Ryan Garcia?
If he catches him like Mario Barrios, good night. And all your 8.2 million Instagram followers, good night.
Oh, jeez.
He's a motherfucker. I talk a lot of shit about Tank. I talk a lot of shit about him in the past. He's fat. He was fat, lazy, uncommitted to the sport. But when he gets in that ring, he takes care of business.
Yeah, you can't debate that. Yep.
Now, Coach, I got a question about something. When Devin Haney said that the rematch with Kambosos has to make sense, even though he's contractually obligated to fight Kambosos again. He said, if they want me to go over there, it has to make sense. And you know what I mean by make sense. So I wonder what you think about that. And Lomachenko's coming back in October. That's what they say.
And motherfucker can talk he can talk all the shit he wants. If he's got a legit contract, he ain't doing shit. He can't try to avoid it, or his ass is gonna be in court. Okay, and he ain't gonna be able to fight once you're in court. All right, he's gonna be sued for a shitload of money. All right, because Lou DiBella, the promoter, Kambosos, and a Harvard Law graduate, he ain't no dummy. If he knows he has a legit rematch, if Haney thinks he can weasel his way around it, yeah, okay. He'll find out in court that the pen is mightier than the sword, meaning that contract. Okay, it has some meaning. It has some juice. Yeah, they're gonna force it. So yeah, he could talk all the shit he wants, man. I see him all the time, man. These fighters forget they got contracts and they think they don't have to honor them. That's what the fucking contracts are for, man. Okay, that's why you have contracts. Okay, to make sure shit's enforceable that you guys agreed upon. Okay, so
Haney saying he's gonna could fight Tank next if Tank does this, and he could fight Ryan. So you're telling me that it's a bunch of what, Coach?
It's a bunch of bullshit. If he has a legit, valid contract with Kambosos and promoter Lou DiBella, he ain't gonna fight shit until he gets that until he gets that fight out of the way with Kambosos. All right. Okay. Contracts. That's why you have contracts. Eddie Futch told me this. The late great Eddie Futch. A lot of you fans out there. One of the greatest trainers of all time. Trained, Frazier, Arguello, Ken Norton, and the list goes on. You know what I mean? Hall of Famer. He once told me, man, he always had contracts with his fighters because he never trusted them, meaning he got screwed a lot of times and he get paid. So he always told me contracts. The reason why you have contracts to enforce the agreements that you guys have between each other. You guys can say shit verbally. Oh yeah, okay, we're boys, man. Yeah, that's good. The deal. My word is gold. Then after the fight, something goes wrong. They don't want to pay you. Okay, how do you enforce it? With a contract. Take his ass to court. It's the same thing with Haney and Kambosos. I'm fucking sure Lou DiBella had, what do you call it? A legit enforceable contract, strong, meaning that if this fucking guy tried to weasel out of the rematch, that motherfucker would take him to court and what do you call it? Legally spank his ass, in the courtroom.
Kind of like Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman, right?
Oh yeah, when they try to weasel their way around that shit, man, and
to make
Lennox
the Tyson fight
down. Yeah, Pat English, his attorney, I think, at the time.
That's right, Pat English.
You want to fuck around Pat English, main events attorney. That boy, yeah, man. He's a good guy, though, man. Pat, I ain't talked to him in years, but he's a good guy. And if you have a legit contract, he knows how to enforce it. See, in boxing, Bill, you better have. When you get to the big time, when the money gets there, you better have an attorney to protect your ass, okay? In case you have a contract and one party doesn't want to, honor it, you better have an attorney that has teeth. That's going to make sure it's enforced. Like Aaron, man, Bob. He tried to steal David Benavidez, called him in the office one day, wrote him a check for $250,000, and Benavidez signed one of top ranks contracts. Well, guess what? He had a legit, valid contract with Samson Lekowitz. Okay? Aaron wanted to see if he had any balls, had any teeth. Okay? To fight him. To fight Aaron on the rights to get Benavidez. Samson does. He went out there and got his attorney, Leon Margolis, one of the top boxing attorneys in boxing, and they filed a lawsuit on Aaron. What did Aaron do? He backed down. Oh, okay, I'll release him, but just give me my $250,000 back. Now, Aaron knew they had a legit contract. He was just testing Samson to see if he had any balls, he had any teeth, to make sure that contract was enforced. Okay? And once he seen that, he backed the fuck off because he knew he could be sued for damage, millions of dollars of torture interference damages. Okay? That's what I mean. I see a lot of fighters get screwed over by their promoters, but they don't understand legal recourse. They don't understand the importance of having a good lawyer to go to bat for you. When money is due, okay, you got to have a good lawyer that knows how to get that money through the court system, through legal recourse. I went through a couple lawsuits, so I understand. And to me, my attorney is the best one in boxing I use. Michael Miller out of San Antonio. Never lost a lawsuit in his 30 plus years of law. Okay. In boxing or his private practice. In fact, Mike was the first lawyer to successfully sue Don King. Out of all those times, King ripped off all those fighters, stole money from all those fighters, took advantage of all those fighters. You name them, from Holmes to Chavez to Tyson, Tim Witherspoon, and the list goes on. Pinklin, the list goes on. None of them had the brains or the balls to find an attorney to sue King. So what did King do? He kept on abusing them guys.
Yep.
All right. That's what happens when you're not properly represented with legal counsel. But Jesse James Leha, when he did that to Leha, he didn't know Mike Miller. And Mike Miller looked at the contract. Nah, man, he breached the contract, didn't honor the terms of the agreement. So Mike sent him a letter, and King bullshitted and da da da. I mean, they stall. So he finally sued him, told him the damages, and King relented. And you know where he signed his release at, Joe? Indiana State Prison, where Mike Tyson was being held. He was getting released that day from that jail, that time he did in prison for that rape case.
Yep.
So Mike told me King sent that, King faxed him the release at the prison. Yeah, he told me that. Funny story, man. Yeah, I forgot all about that one. Yeah, he faxed him the release, Aleja, when Mike was getting, because, he had too much shit on. He had Mike Tyson coming out. Everybody was trying to steal Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson was under contract with him. So King was there. He was a vulture around a dead carcass, man. He didn't want, he was protecting his prey. So Aleja was the last thing on his mind. So he released him. Yeah. Mike said that was the first time King ever was successfully sued, and first time King ever relented. All right. So,
and this happens all the time. Story. Yeah, this happens all the time in boxing, though, Coach. It's funny. Fuck. It's like most people don't realize that every time Manny Pacquiao fought for top rank, they had to pay Golden Boy promotions, didn't they?
Yeah.
And every time Victor Ortiz, and every time Victor Ortiz fought for Golden Boy, they had to pay top rank.
Well, I know Pacquiao because Pacquiao signed an agreement with Golden Boy. Oscar gave him that 250. He pulled the Don King. Met him at the airport in the limousine. Here's 250 cash. Man, he'll sign anything. He signed it. Then all of a sudden, Aram got all pissed off and stole him away. Gave him more money. Aram goes, don't worry about it, man. I'll indemnify you. Meaning, you know what I mean? If you get sued, you know what I mean? I'll take care of it. I'll take care of all that shit. Then what happened was Richard and Oscar want to go through all that bullshit. You know what I mean? And they were smart. I think Don told him, man, just sell it, man. You got a fighter that don't want to be with you. Just make sure you get a percentage out of every time he fights. Yeah, I think that's what Don. Remember what Don told me to tell them guys. Yeah.
Hey, Coach.
It's a fucking jungle.
You'll
get eaten alive. You'll get eaten alive if you ain't got a good attorney, has an insurance policy watching your back. Okay. Simple.
Amazing.
Hey, Coach. Would Devin Haney be able to drop the belts and not fight Kambosos? Would that be a way out, or if they paid him step aside money, is that the only way out of that contract? If Kambosos agrees, of course.
I don't know, young Bill. I don't know what the contract says. I'm only speculating. I'm pretty sure it was a rematch clause to get his belts back. Facts. If he can't make weight or doesn't want to fight it, then hey, man, Devin Haney could just vacate the belts and move up to 140. All right, but I don't know what the contract says. Ludabella and his attorney probably wrote it out. The specific terms of the agreement. Okay, what you do is here's how a contract is written out. You verbally agree on it at first, then you put it in writing, then you send it to the attorneys that represent you. They look it over, and if they say everything's fine, you look it over, then you sign off it when you're happy. Okay, it's a process, man. I'm a fucking coach, man. But I got involved with this legal shit because of the lawsuits. I got a couple lawsuits I was in, and I was trained by Mike Miller on how this shit works. It's a game, okay? It's a game. You got to know how to play the game. That's all.
Yeah, and your typical fighter contract is about, 23, 24 pages long? It's pretty overwhelming.
No, man, everybody's different. Everybody's different, 12 to 15. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. Cedric, main events, Aram. Everybody's different, but similar. Okay, meaning, there's only so many fights they offer you a year. The jurisdiction, if there's a dispute in the contract, the jurisdiction where the contract got to be disputed, that means a big fucking deal.
Yeah, venue rights is a big deal.
Out there know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, venue rights, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Oh hell yeah, it's a big fucking deal. Yeah, but all this shit about King had all these clauses, man. Man, I had all the contracts of all the promoters. I probably got them somewhere, man. Or I threw them away. I don't know, but I had all the contracts and everybody. They're all very similar, but they're different. The terms and agreements are different. When you're starting a fighter from the amateurs to the pros, you're getting them on a 5-year deal. That's the maximum allowed time you're allowed. Getting a world champions fighter, hell, man, I wouldn't sign more than a 2-year contract or a set of fights, 4-fight deal or some 3-fight deal. Why get tied up for a 5-year contract with a promoter if you're already made? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's we're getting into the legal aspects of this shit, which I can't fucking stand, but I understand. You understand what I mean, Joe?
Well, yeah, of course, and that's the business of boxing. But I tell you what, let's get back let's get back to the X's and O's.
That's what fans want to listen.
Yep, let's get back
to fans on the show want to talk about fights. I'm just giving you about the legal behind the scenes shit that goes on. It's a fucking jungle out there, and they don't rip you off when you're in the 4, 6, or 8, 10 round stage. They start fighting over. You start getting fights when you become a guy like Terrence Crawford or Earl Spencer. You start making it big. When the money in the pot's big, then you start having the problems. That's when you're going to start having you better have a lawyer, because everybody wants to put their hand in the cookie jars and take your cookies out without your permission. You gotta slap them in the back of the hand. Bitch, I'm not the one. All right?
Indeed.
You gotta let them know that.
Well, I tell you what, let's give a shout out to our brother G-Ball. Thank you for joining us, friend. He says, I think Ryan is fighting JoJo next come December, although I wouldn't mind watching Ryan versus Rolly Romero. Speaking of Rolly Romero, G-Ball, he said this after yesterday's fights. He said, hey, man, I want Errol Spence Jr. at 147. I'm moving up. I'm a big 35-pounder. I don't give 2 Fs about 140 pounds. It's a no-name division. I want Spence at 147. I want to F him up. Coach, your thoughts about the very special Rolly Romero?
I think Rolly wants to get out of boxing soon and make as much money as possible with the biggest fights. I mean, you know what I mean? He knows he's going to get a good payday with Earl Spence, if he fought him. So to me, that guy, he just wants to get paid and get the fuck out of this business. I mean,
is that because he can't fight, Coach?
He's gotten better since the last time I said that. When he fought Jackson Marinas, he looked like shit. But he's gotten better since then. He's improved.
Very good. Very good. I tell you what, though. I want to give a shout out to our brother Ray also. He says, Young Bill, my G. Yes, he is. I also want to give a shout out to our brother Anthony Manzano. He says, hi, Joe, Coach, and Bill.
What up?
Young Bill, do you have any questions for the coach at this time, sir?
I always do. I don't know. I want to know about what he thinks about Lomachenko coming back. Does Loma give stylistically? Does Loma give Devin Haney a tough style? Because a lot of people are telling me that because Loma is 34 now, and he's been gone, that Devin Haney will jab him to death, and it'll be an easy fight. That's what a lot of people tell me. I want to know what you think.
He looked pretty damn good against that Japanese guy. Okay, he looked pretty damn good against Comey until he starts slipping. I'll tell you otherwise. But that motherfucker, he knows how to close that distance. He ain't Cambosis. All right, he knows how to apply intelligent pressure. He knows how to throw the right combinations in the pocket to be effective. All right, he knows how to prevent you from tying him up. He ain't fucking Cambosis, okay? He's on a totally different level. And his last 2 fights, he looked pretty damn good. It looked like he hasn't slipped. He showed me he hasn't slipped. You know what I mean?
Hey, Coach, can you explain how fighters, when they don't respect your power, how it emboldens them? You know how they get more brave when a guy's not a puncher?
This is a fear and respect business when you get in that fucking ring. If you can't get your fighter's attention early on, he ain't going to have no respect for you. Because, look, he wants to hurt you, your opponent. He wants to beat your ass, okay? But if you put something in his face to get that fear, to make him hesitant, okay, to cause that respect factor, he ain't gonna be as brave or bold coming at you. But if you hit him with a couple right hands, couple left hooks, shit, he's still gonna want to kick your ass, but he's gonna want to be more tentative, okay? You want to establish that fear factor, that respect factor early on. You want to get it. I call it getting the fighter's attention. Okay, Inoue does it right off the bat. Boy, he puts that fear, respect factor into you. Okay, like, oh shit, this motherfucker can hit. Oh my god, I'm gonna be real hesitant in fighting him. Okay. Oh, that's psychological, man. But it's a psychological weapon. Okay, if you got that power, you hurt your opponent. Execute their game plan coming at you. Oh, hell yeah. It's all about getting your opponent's attention, putting that fear factor, that respect factor in them. Okay.
And there it is, guys. We have a question, a very important one.
What do you think all the motherfuckers, if you saw the young Bill, when Mike Tyson was coming up, what do you think all the motherfuckers, don't you think he got their attention early on? They were fucking scared to death when they fought Mike. That first punch, shit.
Michael Spinks was scared before he got in the ring, and Michael Spinks was a great fighter, coach. But he was
an all-time great.
He took forever to come out.
Remember that? It was in '88. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw that right off the bat.
Just watching that tape, just seeing how slow he walked to the ring, and also just the look in his eye, you could tell he didn't want to be there, and it showed. Like you said, it's that fear factor. But
his promoter Bush Lewis is scared shit when he went into Tyson's dressing room. He seen Mike punching the walls.
Oh,
God. Dang, man. Butch Lewis is a promoter of Michael's. What was that, Joe?
No. It's Coach.
You there, Joe?
Yeah, Coach, you're really breaking up, sir. You're really breaking up. Is there any way you could? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Can you reboot your computer and then come back on as soon as it reboots, sir? Because it's dragging quite a bit.
5 seconds.
All right, very good.
5 seconds. I'll be back.
We'll hold down the fort until you come back in. I tell you what, young Bill, always learn a ton every Sunday whenever we actually speak with Coach Gogue. But I tell you what, guys, and there's a very important question that Antonio Luna has in the queue regarding his son and how long it should take for, a teenager to begin sparring another kid in his class.
I'm back in.
Coach Gogue, you there, sir? All right, very good. Now, here's a question, very important one with our
motherfucker.
A very important question from our brother Antonio Luna. He says, Coach Gogue, my son is in his second week of learning how to box in a gym. How long should it take for a teenager who's only 2 weeks in to begin sparring with another kid in his class?
Learn the basics first. How to throw your footwork, balance, how to move around that ring. Okay, then how to work out that jab effectively. Okay, how to throw the basic punches, the 1-2, the 1-2 hook. But learn how to work out that jab. Okay, learn the basics first, man. The fundamentals of offense and defense. Teach him a lot of defense and how to block punches. Teach him variations of defense. How to slip punches, how to use your footwork to move away from punches. Don't even spar him right off the bat, man. Make sure he's in good shape, okay? All right, make sure he's in good condition. I usually, when I get a new guy, it depends on him. Some guys, within a month, I'll spar him. Some guys, 2 months. It depends on how fast your son's learning the basic fundamentals. It's not, okay, he's been in the ring, he's been in the gym for 2 weeks, start sparring him. Hell no, man. Teach him. You want to develop confidence in your kid, okay? You want to make sure he's comfortable before you put him in the ring sparring with his basics, which is the footwork, knowing how to move in that ring, working that jab effectively, knowing how to throw the 3 basic punches, the jab, right hand, left hook, But his defense, okay? Make sure in his defense he understands the basics of defense, so he's not getting hit a lot when he spars. And when you spar him, don't spar him 3 minutes. Spar him 2-minute rounds, 1-minute round, just to get him a familiarity of getting hit. Okay. Another stuff I do on new guys, especially young guys, I work on blocking drills. I have both fighters put on gloves and headgear, and I have them throw certain combinations at each other and teach them how to block punches. So when, I'll have them throw the 1-2. Okay, this is how you block the 1-2. This is how you block the 1-2 hook. This is how punches. So they feel comfortable, okay, they feel comfortable and they have familiarity on getting hit. Okay, so when they first spar, they're not glove shy and all that shit. Okay, these blocking drills, these defensive drills are teaching them not only how to defend themselves in getting hit by your opponent, but it's giving them that comfort of learning how to block punches and taking punches. Okay, on the gloves, on the body, on the shoulders or whatever. Okay, all right, that's what you want to do. To me, before you spar, I think you should do a lot of blocking and countering drills or just blocking. Okay, teach yourself how to defend against the right hand, the left hook, shit like that. But hey, man, it's all about the coaches, man. Nowadays, these I wouldn't trust a lot of these coaches. They have no idea on teaching the basic fundamentals to beginners. Okay.
Yeah. So there it is, Antonio. Look. So Antonio, I'm sorry, go ahead, Coach.
A lot of coaches out there don't understand teaching them the right proper stance and teaching them from the right proper stance how to throw the basic punches and how to defend yourself. But anyway,
Hey, go ahead, Joe. I know you're about to say something.
No, I was going to say, Antonio. So there it is, sir. So if your son's coach wants to just throw him in after 2 weeks of walking in the gym for the first time, you might want to look for another gym, might want to look for another coach. Okay?
Absolutely.
And there it is. I hope that helped, Antonio, as you were, young Bill.
Hey, Coach, I'm about to see Teofimo Lopez real soon, Coach, and I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on him, and can he become champion again at 140? Do you think he could bounce back?
Yeah, he's got talent and ability, man. He's fast, he's explosive, he's instinctive, he's got good reflexes. Yeah, I like to see how he does in this 140-pound division if his power transfers up, okay? If you're a good natural puncher, your punching power should transfer to the higher weight divisions, okay? Like Arguello, he started at featherweight, junior lightweight, then he went to lightweight, then he went to welterweight, and he didn't lose none of his power. If you're a natural puncher, your power transfers as you ascend into the higher weight divisions. Lopez, yeah, but man, he's a typical fighter. You know what I mean? They talk a lot and they don't fight enough.
Okay.
And a lot of them got mental problems. Oh, mommy, I got mental problems. Can you find me a psychiatrist? To cure these demons in me. Oh. Young Bill, I get mental problems listening to that shit all the time, man.
Oh, it's a different era of prize fighters, isn't it, Coach? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, here's a question from my brother Ray. And once again, guys, I'm sorry I'm way behind, but want to welcome everyone in the chat, and we want to thank you for supporting Coach James Gogue as well as Warwick Radio and Young Bill. Here's a question from our brother Ray. He says, Joseph, is there any way for Golden Boy to keep DAZN out of the fight with Ryan and Tank to maximize their profits by cutting DAZN out and working with Showtime? Coach?
No. Oscar didn't get that new deal from DAZN just to give his pop star away.
That's it. Coach.
Yeah, look, guys, we all saw what happened. It just happened when Eddie Hearn cut DAZN out of their deal with Joshua Usyk rematch. arguably the most pivotal and consequential fight of his entire career. Okay, so they had to serve up their blue chipper, Conor Benn, to Chris Eubank Jr. at a catchweight. We'll see how that works out. They had to give him something to put on UK pay-per-view. Tell you what, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, guys, look, if they're going to justify giving you all those TV dates and paying for all those nothing matchups that don't do anything to drive subscriber numbers, well, you're going to have to give them something that you're going to have to replace it with something that does, or they're going to yank your TV dates, right?
Exactly.
And there it is. So in other words, Coach is absolutely right. Golden Boy, they just signed this deal with DAZN for all these TV dates. So that's a big hell no. And there it is.
Hell fucking no. How's that?
Yeah, our brother Anthony Manzano says, Coach, being that you're a trainer, how long does it take you to adjust? Yeah. So Anthony Manzano, he says, Coach, being that you're a trainer, how long does it take you to adjust to a fighter who has only been in your camp for 3 months before they have a fight? And I guess that's directed towards Joe Goosen and Ryan Garcia, I'm assuming. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, man, it takes a series of fights before you see. When you get a fighter, man, I'll give you an example. I got this kid from Venezuela, Macayo. When I first got him, man, but first couple weeks in the gym, I was just checking him out, man. Okay, evaluating him. What's the strengths? What's his weaknesses? What does he need to work on to become a better fighter? What is he missing right now, or that he's not doing? What does he do right? Okay, usually when I get a fighter like him who's raw and green, the list of what he does right is like the list what he does wrong is usually okay. All right. So when I got a guy like Macau, he had a lot of boxes to check, man. And it's a process, okay? I've been with him 2 fights now. I figure I've been with 6 months. I figure another 6 months we'll have a lot more familiarity. But it's a series of fights where you grow together, okay, and evolve, and where he develops his style, his skill sets, his boxing IQ. Okay, because this guy, he even though he had 200 amateur fights and he was an Olympian for Venezuela, he trained like an amateur. He still trained like an amateur. He fought like an amateur. He didn't understand the professional game. So when I came here, when he came to me, I had to teach him all that shit, man. But he picks up fast because, number one, he's older. And because of his amateur background and his professional background, he picks up stuff faster than a normal guy. So everybody's different, though, man. Their learning curve is different. But, a guy like Ryan and Joe being Joe, his track record to get, and he's going to reach his full potential as a fighter. As long as Ryan listens to him and doesn't do nothing stupid, like leave him after a few fights. Because a guy like Joe, who has just, oh my God, like Nacho Beristain, being around the sport so long, you learn all this shit, okay? He just got so much knowledge for Ryan to absorb, but he can't do it in 2 or 3 fights. It takes time. It's a process, okay? This shit, man, developing your boxing IQ, developing your skill sets, man, you just don't learn this shit overnight. It takes time, over years, over a series of fights. Like Usyk, man. That motherfucker knows how to control range and distance beautifully. He knows how to use angles. He understands the importance of lead foot positioning when he fights a right-hander. So he has that advantage over you to hit you with that left hand at an angle, to attack you at angles. Shit, he learns from a little kid. Okay? That skill set is in him. It's ingrained in him. He learned, fighting through the amateurs over the 200, probably close to 200 amateur fights he had, the extensive international amateur background he has. He perfected it. Okay, so when he fought Joshua, it was like a high seasoned amateur fighting a novice. A guy that never fought a style like Usyk, a sophisticated predator with a high boxing IQ, with a multitude of weapons in his arsenal. Okay, it takes a while, man, to learn this, Anthony. It takes a while, and you better have a coach that knows how to teach your fighter. And it takes a while like I said, it takes a series of fights. But if he sticks with Joe, that was his second fight with Joe. Give him another 4 fights. You'll start and get the comp. You got to really see. He's got to fight better competition too to see if he's really improving. Okay, fighting a guy like that, where he just came to get his last paycheck before he retired. Yeah, I really you can't. He didn't answer the questions I wanted. Okay.
So, Coach, is it really a good idea? Because a lot of people seem to think that he's going to fight Jojo Diaz next. Instead, this is a guy who began his career at 122 pounds, competed in the Olympics at 126. Right? Is that going to be a solid litmus test for Ryan Garcia? Is that even a makeable fight?
Hey. Yeah, Jojo Diaz is with Golden Boy. He wants a payday. He's just looking for big fights right now. He wants a payday, and Ryan's with Golden Boy. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense. The odds of making that fight are a lot better. Plus, JoJo's from LA, Ryan's from Southern Cal, so you got a little rivalry going on. So that makes sense and everything.
So in your mind, though,
want to see ain't gonna happen.
So if you were Joe Goose and if you were the brass at Golden Boy Promotions, would you be anxious to stick him in the ring with Tank Davis at this time?
No. Number one, he's becoming he's not a great ticket seller yet, but he's becoming one. The more consistent he fights, the bigger draw he's gonna be, especially in the LA area. If he keeps fighting over there, he's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you got a ticket seller that has the potential to fill that whole place up, 20,000 pack it in. Yeah, you want to protect him a little bit more. But you start talking all that shit right now, you're planting the seeds right now for the future, okay?
And that's it, guys. That's what it's all about. Don't expect this fight to be made anytime soon. I want to give a shout out to our brother Tycho TV, Coach Gogue. Thank you so much for always supporting the coach, sir. Yeah, I tell
Tycho
you what, Young
TV,
Bill.
Is that another podcast?
He's just a brother who always supports. Now, I tell you what, if he does have a podcast, go check it out and go please subscribe because he always supports everyone within the YouTube boxing community.
What up?
I tell you what, yeah, I'm way behind, guys, on the chat. Young Bill, do you have any questions for Coach of any other relevant news, sir?
No, I just want to know, Coach. I know it's not this weekend, but the next weekend. What about Danny Garcia and Jose Benavidez, Coach? Who has the upper hand there? And to me, I look at Danny as a primarily a counterpuncher, so I'm kind of worried about the first 4 or 5 rounds of that fight because these guys are going to be waiting on each other.
What do I think about the fight? I think Danny Garcia is a retread. Hasn't won a big fight in years. Insignificant. Reason he's in tight with Al, and Al's going to keep on giving him these paydays. All right. To me, look, Joe. Them dates are valuable with Showtime. They only do one a month or something like that.
Yep, they are.
This guy hasn't won a big fight in a long time. The other guy hasn't won a big fight in a long time. Now they're fighting the main event, just like Adrian Broner and Figueroa. Don't you think guys like Jared Enos, one of the rising stars in boxing, don't you think he deserves his own date on Showtime?
Indeed.
I think
I would love to see a doubleheader with Jerron Boots Ennis and Brandon Lee. Yeah, they're both Cameron Duncan guys. I would love to see their own date.
Why bring up these 2 retreads? That's what he is. Danny Garcia is a retread. All right. I mean, he ain't hungry. I mean, come on. Look, a fighter that's hungry wants to fight all the time. That wants to train all the time. All right.
Yep.
When's the last time he fought? Was it shit? When's the last time he fought, Joe?
The Spence fight, December 2020. Coach.
The Earl Spence fight?
Yep.
Yeah, December 2020.
Almost 2 years ago, Coach.
2 years. That motherfucker ain't hungry. Come on, man. I'm sick of this shit, man. Why give valuable TV days to retreads when you got he's a fucking retread? When you got guys like Jared Enos that deserve one, that Brandon Lee, there's other fighters out there, young fighters that you want to build up on these prime slots, not these fucking retreads. Back in the day, Danny Garcia would be a retread, okay? He would be served to other champions, okay, so the younger champions could get something on their resume. But nowadays, man, because of Al takes care of him. Al cares about him.
Yep. Yeah, I'm right here, Coach. Once again, we apologize, guys, we're having buffering issues with the coach. He's conducting the show. Can you hear me, sir?
With me or you?
Young Bill.
Yeah, are you having problems with me?
Yes, sir. Young Bill, is it on my end or is it on Coach's end, sir?
It's on Coach's end.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
My end?
Yeah, it's on your end, sir.
Let me log out and I'll do
okay, do me a favor, turn your computer off and then turn it back on. Completely restart it, sir.
He's pretty Coach, you there?
Okay, he's going to try for us again. But I tell you what, guys, we want to thank you guys for supporting the coach as well as Young Bill and myself. And War Week Radio, guys, I tell you what, it's interesting, though. Here's the quandary, right? And no one is talking about this, right? Well, Coach, are you there, sir? This is perfect.
Yeah, man, this StreamYard, Joe. Fuck, it's becoming like Blog Talk Radio. Remember that shit? Man, you need to get a refund. Tell them guys, they're not delivering on their services, man.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, you're coming in through loudly and clearly right now, so let's just take advantage of that. But our brother Frank, I want to thank Frank for joining us. He says, I'm stealing that. LOL, he's a retread. But you're absolutely right.
Come on, that's what we used to call them guys back in the days. I mean, all this shit I'm saying is from the shit I learned when I was a little kid coming up in the business from them old timers. The fucking guy's a retread. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Meaning you got an old horse, you got an old tire worn out. So what do? You put a tread around it. You call it a retread.
Here, I need to give this light because a lot of fans share this perspective as well, this perception. Our brother Juice says PBC is broke, but they were able to offer Canelo $100 million. Coach, does a promoter use their own money to make these fights happen?
Aram does. I mean, nowadays they go to the networks that they're hooked up with. You know what? Promoters are like middlemen right now. They're not, because back in the days, real promoters used their money to make fights happen, like Don Chargan. Okay. When he didn't have TV dates, he didn't give a fuck. He put on a fight anyway on his dime. Okay. He never waited for a TV date and their money to make a fight happen. But nowadays, but these fighters' purses are so inflated, because of the networks backing them, they pay for the bills. They pay the bills.
And that's it, guys. So, Juice, I hope you guys...
That's what's missing in boxing. That's one of the reasons why boxing's fucked up. There ain't no real promoters out there that know how to promote fights. Okay, generating, building fan bases in local areas like Don Chargan. I mean,
yep. Very seldom are you going to see promoters, big time promoters, who have a healthy roster stage fights off TV. You just don't see it any longer.
Yeah.
And there it is. Our brother Blacklight says Dead Zone lost over $1 billion each year, and they're offering Canelo a bag too. Well, look, their strategy changed. That's a last-ditch effort to try and actually get subscribers that way. And they're not even confident that Canelo is going to bring in new subscribers, which is why they're offering it now on pay-per-view. That's the sole reason, because look how long they've been working with Canelo. They've been working with him now for several years, and they still have less than 1 million subscribers in the U.S. market. That's not good, Coach. Not good.
But
Not good at all.
But why would these guys think they're Canelo? Why would these guys expect the, like Bud Crawford and Errol Spence situation? Why the hell would and that coach? I'm starting to feel your frustration. Like who do some of these guys think they are? I don't understand.
Honestly,
I mean,
Joe, honestly, young Bill, a lot of times it's motherfuckers that are in their crew that tell them, "Oh, you're worth this, you're worth that, you're worth that." Oh yeah, I am. Or they get these inflated figures in their head, which they're worth. It's a lot of times it's the poison they have in their crew that's telling them that. You know what I mean? They get a bad. Look, if they had real, it's like Crawford. If he had a real motherfucker to tell him the true way, this is what's the best offer we could get. Your demands are way too high. That fight ain't gonna happen. And if Crawford has somebody on his team that he could trust, Crawford probably make this fight happen. But delusions of grandeur. That's what I call it.
Yep.
Delusions of grandeur, meaning they think they're worth more than what they are.
Yep.
Hey, Coach. Now, what do you think about the new report by Mike Coppinger saying that the fight is a lot closer? They're nearing a deal for November without any real obstacles in the way. What do you say, Coach?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Joe told me something different last week. Now Coppinger, that gossiping bitch. You know what I mean? He might have found out some other information. I don't know.
Oh, geez.
Can you give us 2 one-gun salutes for the fight?
I can fucking care less if it happens. This fight should have happened a long time ago. All right? It should have happened a long time ago when these guys were in their prime. Like Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard was like 24, 23. Thomas Hearns was 21. Okay? That's the 2 best welterweights at the time. Okay? They fought each other. And they're when they were young, not what's Crawford 30.
He's
35 in
34.
September, Coach.
And the other
35 in September.
34.
Yep.
Motherfucking guys. Hello, man. These
Oh, Coach.
Damn.
And you know what? There's a lot of young kids I follow that love the sport coming up and this and that that I follow, all over social media, and they're really, but god dang, man, it makes it bad for them guys that boxing's not going to grow by the time they get to that status. Shit, they might not have nobody supporting them. You know what I mean? I want the sport to grow, and prosper. UFC is doing it the right way. Okay, all right, their business plan is a lot better than boxing's fucked up business plan. And but anyway, I just want the sport to grow. In order for the sport to grow, you gotta capture new fans, okay, that aren't fans of the sport, and make them fans. And that's usually the younger fan base coming up. Okay, you build that culture in them. Oh, boxing is, man, like I did. The culture was built in me in the 70s when I started following boxing because of the great Muhammad Ali. He got me tuned into boxing. Okay. All right. Then as I followed it more and more, guys like Duran, Arguello, Joe Frazier, all of them, man, all the greats, man. It developed my culture, got my excitement, my interest in boxing. The best fights were happening all the time. None of this shit like today. No fucking way. None of this shit. Fights were made, baby.
So our brother Juice says
Frazier, Ali, Norton, Holmes. So
Coach, let me ask you this. What do you have to say about this? Our brother Juice says, and thank you for joining us, Juice. We appreciate you hanging with the coach. He says, who cares about sales? We want the fights. How do you make the fights, Coach?
Can you hear me, Joe?
I can hear you loudly and clearly, sir.
Nowadays, fucking impossible. There's too many fucking politics. There's too many roadblocks. There's too many fences. It's the boxing so divided. They're pretty much impossible to make now. There gives a shit, and badminton takes over.
Jeez,
is being watched more than us.
Well, and once again, guys,
women's softball.
Without sales, good luck paying for these fights, right? Guys,
exactly.
So look, fans have to start caring about the financials of this. And once again, if you're not financially supporting the sport, well, promoters, networks, no one is going to listen to what fans have to say any longer. So if you guys want to be the bosses again, start financially supporting the sport. I can't spell it out any clearer. And there it is. But, Coach, we've reached the 91-minute mark. We're going to go ahead and bid you an excellent evening. Young Bill, if you could stay behind so we can actually chop things up and chat with our all the members, all of our extended family members in the chat. I'm sorry, sir. What?
Is there a lot more questions? Is there a lot more questions for me?
Let's see. Do you have time for us, Coach?
Yeah, a few more.
Okay. Let's see, guys. If you have any questions for the coach, right now is the time, right?
If not, if you ain't got no questions, if not, yeah, till next week, till we meet again.
And there it is, Coach. I tell you what, we'll reconvene. Is there any possibility? Does your schedule permit us to have a midweek chat with Coach Gogue at all? Because we would like to.
I'll let you know during the week, man. During the week, because of training, it takes a lot of my time and everything.
All right,
is time to best unwind and everything.
Very
one
good.
More question, Joe. If everybody has one more question, I'll take it.
Well, most people just seem to be actually battling it out in the chat right now. That's why I'm saying if we could have another show when we're not having so many technical difficulties, we'd love to share some more time with you later on in the week, Coach.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Is there a lot of technical difficulties?
Coach, you got a question?
Is there a lot of technical difficulties?
Yeah, it's buffering quite a bit, sir, but we understand that you're actually conducting the show from Leon, Mexico. Young Bill, you have another question for Coach.
No, man, no. I never had problems before.
My man. Hey, Coach, my man Frank Bay says.
My internet's good, man.
Hey, but Coach, I can look.
It's
one last question.
StreamYard shit.
Okay, well, I tell you what, one last question. Young Bill, go ahead and let it fly, sir.
My man Frank Bay says, who do you think will take over, will carry the sport after Canelo's done, Coach? As far as doing the big gates, doing the big pay-per-view sales and things like that, Coach. The main attraction.
Look at all the non-ticket sellers out there right now. All these stars right now in boxing. Look. There ain't nobody. When Canelo's gone, I don't see anybody else.
Oh, damn, Coach. Don't say that, Coach.
I mean, come on. I'm just being honest. Ryan Garcia, come on, man. He's got to beat – to be that superstar, you got to beat great fighters, okay? Tank Davis, look at his pay-per-view numbers. They're sinking like the Titanic. Earl Spence, look at his pay-per-view numbers. Damn, man, he is the Titanic, okay? It's sinking. The Tolo brothers, they have one pay-per-view. They never got on pay-per-view again because the first one was a failure. I mean, come on, man. I'm just being upfront, man. I mean, I don't the future superstars that could do 1 million pay-per-view buys and sell out everywhere they go. I don't know. Tell me. I want to know. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Coach, think about this. Well, think about this, Coach. And this is one of the things that really worries me about the business of boxing and the future of boxing. When you think about it, like without HBO developing and cultivating the stars of the sport, they were the most recognized mainstream platform of boxing. That's where the biggest fights took place. Without HBO in the business, who's going to develop the next star? And is there a platform currently that has that kind of juice to develop the next big-time mainstream star?
Did Coach freeze?
What are your thoughts, Coach?
He froze.
Oh, and there it is. I tell you what, Coach.
Showtime. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, sir.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, sir.
And I'm sorry, fans out there, man. I know you guys, man, I'm sorry, but it ain't me. It's Yardstream shitcom. I mean, Yardstream.com. Sorry. Man, come on. I don't see any stars out
there. Hey.
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
Stars coming up there, man. And I don't see any new stars. I mean, come on. When Canelo's gone, come on. I mean, who's the next great star of Mexico coming out when Canelo's gone? Nobody. I don't see any new great star coming out of Mexico. In the USA, who do I see? Come on, Jared Enos. Come on, man. I mean, motherfuckers. No personality motherfuckers, man.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'll tell you what. Hopefully, Coach, we can get this problem, this technical issue resolved and get you back on the air sometime this week.
Hey, Joe, what's the problem? It's not on my end, is it? Yardstream.
Right now, young Bill and I don't have any kind of problems, so we're thinking that it's Leon Mexico. But it's no big deal, guys. We'll get this issue rectified. I'll contact StreamYard, see what the problem was. All right. But until then, Coach.
You know what? If I got time during the midweek, I'll let you know. Then y'all come by and just answer questions. And like I said, I apologize again. I don't like this, man. I know you guys want nothing frustrates you more when you have you know what I mean, when your internet provider or this service is not doing this job and everything. So yeah, call StreamYard. All right, Joe.
I sure will. I'll contact them, Coach, and we'll see what we can do later on the week. But Coach, any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
No. Just thanks for tuning in, having a nice, good talk with all you fans. We had a lot of people tuning in tonight, Joe, like last week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thanks to all you guys staying up, tuning in. Man, this shit is new technology, man. I'm like, when I started doing this stuff, man, like back in the days we had Blog Talk Radio, man. We had like shitloads of people. I'm like, God dang. There's people actually staying up at night listening to my motherfucking ass talk shit all night. So
that's what we were on. Yep.
And
that's what we were on exclusively with Eastside Boxing. Yep.
Yeah. And thanks all the fans in England, UK. You guys are the best pound for pound fans in the world. Pound for pound, the best in the world. And in boxing in England is relevant. Okay. Not like the United States where, skateboarding or badminton is more relevant. In boxing in England is relevant because Eddie Hearns has done an outstanding job developing the markets over there with local fighters, making them local attractions, ticket sellers, getting the whole nation excited. So that's why boxing is relevant in England, okay? You don't see that in the States, okay? But anyway.
Okay, hold on. Our brother Dub Rightside says, what are we, Coach? Chopped liver?
No, we are the country that we offer the most money. That's why we're relevant. We got the biggest pay. We offer the fighters the biggest paydays. But as far as fan base, England, boxing is the number 2 sport in England behind soccer.
Actually,
Mexico
Coach,
is the number 2 sport behind soccer.
Actually,
they got bigger fan bases in England and in Mexico, but in the United States, the fan base is not as big. It's not as popular, but they provide the most money because of the networks. Okay.
Well, I will say this, Coach. Over the last 3 years, in the UK, boxing has dwindled out of the top 5 and is now below, football, cricket, and badminton.
Well, they still get big crowds everywhere every time they have big fights over there, Joe. I mean,
that
fight with that fight with Joshua and Usyk, they did 80,000.
Yep, and Tyson Fury, Dillian White did 93,000. Yep,
that's chopped liver. Fuck, that's pretty fucking good to me.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, thank you so much for devoting 100 minutes on the show this evening. And hopefully we can actually chat with you sometime later on the week. And once again, guys, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but Coach will be back in full force later on this week. Thank you so much, Coach, for everything, sir. No, God bless you, brother.
God bless you, Coach.
It's always a learning experience every time you are on the air, sir. So thank you, brother.
Absolutely,
hey,
Coach.
Keep on doing a good job and getting to know them guys you know, once you know them guys, they'll start telling you shit, off record. Then you tell me what they're saying off record. I got a lot of shit on a lot of people off record. I won't say it on here, but I know a lot about their personal life and a lot of bullshit from people that know real good, man.
Coach,
I don't spread nobody's dirty laundry on here, okay? All right.
Thank you, Coach Gogue. God bless you, brother. You have a good night's sleep, and we will talk to you later on this week, sir.
All right. Sorry for all the technical difficulties.
It's all right, brother. We give you a mulligan, sir.
Coach. It's that damn yard stream.
Have a good night, my brother.
All right. Thank you.
I tell you what, guys, we apologize for the technical difficulties and the buffering from Leon Mexico, but guys, I tell you what, Coach, and I say this all the time on the show, don't I, Young Bill? Coach not only knows everything about the X's and O's of the sport, but he knows everything about management, promotions, matchmaking. I mean, everything about the sport is scouting. How to bring someone up through the amateurs. I mean, he is, guys, the Filipino version of Emmanuel Stewart. That's it. And, guys, the only reason why I can say that with confidence is because I spent years very closely working with Emmanuel Stewart. And I've never seen his rival. The closest thing to it these days is Coach James Gogue. He is the truth serum. And just like Emmanuel, boy, he's going to give it to you straight.
Yeah.
You may not like what he says, but you better respect it because it's coming from a very knowledgeable place. And there it is. I tell you what, though, Young Bill, what were your thoughts on Ryan Garcia's performance last night? And is he ready? Is he ready for Gervonta Davis?
Joe, it's like this. When they ask, "Are you ready?" I don't know if you'll. I mean, the thing is, he only had 2 camps with Joe Goosen, but I believe, another camp getting ready for a guy like Tank Davis. I do believe he can make it a competitive fight. Now, will he win that fight? I don't know, but that's why we pay to watch the fights, Joe, because Ryan Garcia with that combination of speed and power, he's a dangerous fight for anybody. And I don't care who you're talking about. I don't care if you have a great boxer like Devin Haney. I don't care if you have a great, puncher like Gervonta Tank Davis. He's given up, 6-7 inches in height 5 to 6 inches in height with Ryan Garcia and reach. I mean, this guy, Ryan Garcia, is the way. I mean, Tank started his career at 126. That's something that people don't realize. He just can punch, and his punching power, has translated and been there throughout the weight divisions, and it's kind of covered up a lot of his lack of real stature. Gervonta Tank Davis is not a big guy, and he just carries a punch. He punches like a welterweight / junior middleweight, and I think that's what gets him through. And he has great boxing skills. But could Ryan Garcia trouble him with power and the hand speed? Yes. Does Ryan Garcia make a lot of mistakes that make him vulnerable? Yes. And that's why people want to watch Ryan. That's why people want to see Tank, because they know when these 2 guys step in the ring, it's not going 12-round decision. Whoever wins that fight is winning by knockout. That's just I can't see it any other way, Joe. And I know you say at the elite level, you don't expect to see a knockout, but 80 to 90% of the time you don't see a knockout at the elite level. But this fight is tailor-made where we're going to see fireworks, Joe. It's vulnerability.
That's it. Yeah, and once again, look at Arturo Gatti, who is a great ticket seller, pay-per-view commodity. Gave us all these memorable performances, and he was one of the most vulnerable stars that we've seen over the past 40 years. But guys, he's going to give it everything he has in the center of the ring. Okay, vulnerabilities and all. And guys, we love to see it. We love to see that drama unfold in the ring. And say what you want about Ryan Garcia. If he faces Gervonta Tank Davis, that's what you're going to get. You're going to see high drama at the highest level of the sport. And once again, you're absolutely right. Now, think about this. Now, I'm going to pose this question to you, Young Bill. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr., do you expect to see a knockout in that fight?
If you let the Terrence Crawford fanboys say it, yeah, you expect a knockout or stoppage. Yeah, Errol Spence is going to get stopped.
No. I mean based in reality.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let me come back to earth. Joe, no. I think I have Errol Spence by decision. I think he's going to outwork Terrence Crawford. If the fight happens, thanks to Coach Gogue for giving us two one-gun salutes because
I love it.
Yeah, because Coach Gogue, look, honestly, I see Errol Spence winning just on sheer activity and volume and just, like you said, freezing Terrence Crawford, who's a natural counterpuncher, with that, like you said, educated lead hand. I think he's going to freeze Terrence Crawford. The first 3 or 4 rounds, and while Terrence Crawford's trying to find his timing, and I think that Errol Spence is going to get a lead on the scorecards. And I believe that Errol Spence, as the fight goes on, Errol Spence picks up, and a lot of fighters, I think the pace, if you don't train at the pace that Errol Spence trains at, it's hard to adjust to that in one fight. That's why people think on the outside looking in it's easy, but they don't understand that Errol Spence with that pace, he trains to throw 60, 70 power shots or 30, 40 jabs per round. And he can sustain that for 12 rounds straight, no matter what pace you fight at, no matter how much pressure you put on him. Errol Spence has that type of conditioning and tank to be able to sustain that work rate. And I think that's something that people underestimate. They think because you're in there with a counterpuncher like Bud that is going to make Errol Spence's work rate dissipate. And I think they're over exaggerating how good of a counterpuncher Terrence Crawford is, and they over exaggerate and they underestimate what a great jab does to a great counterpuncher. I think they underestimate that fact.
That's right. And, I had this discussion on my brother Ryan's channel, Boxing Gems, last night, in which two gentlemen on the panel were trying to tell me that Errol Spence doesn't have an intelligent jab. And I pointed out, I said, really? Is that why he pretty much put Danny Garcia as well as Mikey Garcia in checkmate by the 4th round? And those guys are 2 prolific counterpunchers. Okay, what that does, guys, and once again, I'm going to break it down to you. What is an intelligent jab, actually? Okay, it's when you incorporate feints, touch jabs, hard stab jabs to the body, chest, and head, and you use it in different intervals, different locations. You mix up the torque. Guys, very intelligent counterpunchers like Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia. If he just threw it out there like a pendulum, they'd be able to time it like a clock, slip, and counter effectively. But did you see that at all throughout 24 rounds of action against Errol Spence Jr., young Bill?
Absolutely. And see, that's the thing. And that's not knocking Bud Crawford. Like, he's very physically strong. And Bud Crawford is a monster. You don't get it twisted. We're not. That's why I don't pick a stoppage. That's why I said neither one of them, in my opinion, is getting stopped. Yep. I think it's going to be a close decision, a highly contested decision. I just think Errol Spence is going to win.
See, I think that's the problem, though, with most people's assessment, most fans' assessment, is look, everyone is giving Terrence Crawford the appropriate credit that he deserves. He's a damn chameleon in the ring, and he's not a jack of all trades, but a master of none. He excels at so many different things in the ring. He deserves his pound for pound stature, right, and recognition. But I think most fans who are favoring Crawford in this matchup are completely underestimating what a complete fighter Errol Spence is at this time of his career.
Peter Von Ark says an intelligent jab isn't going to help Spence versus Crawford. It'll only prolong the inevitable. What's the inevitable? Spence getting knocked out? See, that's what I'm saying. Are y'all? And I think people underestimate who do you think has a sturdier chin in this fight, Joe? Who do you think is? Man.
Well, I can tell you're getting fired about this, young Bill. And once again, there are no right or wrong answers, guys, until we see how the fight plays out.
No, I'm not fired up about it. I'm not fired up. I'm just asking the question. Who has the more who has the sturdier chin? Who have you seen? Who have you seen react
to
the
stanky leg? Do the Zab Judah dance?
The stanky leg a little bit more often. Who has who has touched the canvas before? Like, see, this thing about this, why is not a right or wrong answer is because we don't know how. Just because Errol Spence didn't knock Danny Garcia out, or Mikey Garcia, we don't know how Terrence Crawford is going to take Errol Spence's shots, just as well as we don't know how Errol Spence is going to take Terrence Crawford's shots. And so I think people are overestimating the chin aspect in this respect. They think that Errol Spence is going to get stopped because Bud is stopping other fighters. They don't know that what if Errol Spence takes Bud's shots better than you think? And now a fight comes down to who's more active, the points, who's going to win, who's going to, activity, body punching. Now we got to see a warfare. You get what I mean? Now, see, if you take the knockouts away, now what? What if he doesn't knock him out? Is Terrence Crawford going to outwork Errol Spence? Now, if Spence doesn't outwork Terrence Crawford, what can he do? See, what can he do different if Terrence Crawford puts him on the back foot, or if Terrence Crawford uses his lateral movement? Those are questions that people are not posing in this fight. They're always thinking, oh, it's going to be a knockout either way, and somebody's going to get crushed either way. And I'm telling you, just by studying film, that's not going to happen. Neither one of them is getting crushed. We wouldn't be clamoring for this fight so bad.
That's right.
If these two guys weren't the cream of the crop, and I think people forget that.
So to answer your question, young Bill, here's our brother Peter. He says, yes, Spence gets KO'd. Well, like I said, brother, we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have look, and once again, one thing I always like to say is the truth always reveals itself in the ring. And in the theater of the unexpected, anything can and often does happen, but the truth indeed always reveals itself in the ring. And there it is. I tell you what, young Bill, do you want to open up the chat? Or do you have time? Do you have to have time to share the air with our extended War Week Radio family?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. We open it up, Joe.
I tell you what, guys, we're going to stay on for another 20 to 30 minutes because we both have a lot of work to do tomorrow, as I'm sure all of you do. But guys, we want to thank you. But we want to thank all of you guys for hanging with us. And yes, we're going to get you credentialed to Teofimo Lopez's next.
No, I'm about to go see Teofimo Lopez, Joe.
Oh, that's right. Wait. Well, you're taking off tomorrow, right?
Yeah, soon. Yeah, I don't need to get credentialed for it. I got it.
Oh, that's right. That's in New Jersey.
Yeah, facts. I'm out there in Big Ringo. The
guys,
old boxing.
Hats off to the hardest man in boxing at this time, the young billionaire.
We're gonna go see Coach Calvin again. Joe. We're gonna see Coach Calvin. We're gonna see Boogeyman Boots. I'm gonna try to make it by Barry Hunter's gym too while I'm out there. So.
Oh, that's in DC, brother. The doghouse. Oh, I love it, dude. I love it. Barry's a great guy, man.
Shout out to Lee Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Lee Cleveland, editor-in-chief of Fight Saga. Let me know when you're in the Washington D.C. area. I'll have Lee come out and show you around, brother. The nation's capital. He's been there his entire life, sir.
Xander. Kevin Fuentes, my boy.
And there it is. So here's our brother Dub Rightside. Welcome to the program, sir. How are you doing this evening?
What's up,
What's
Righty?
up, Joe? What's up, my brothers? How y'all feeling, man?
Welcome, bro.
Hey, my brother Coach Gogue, man, he was on one day. I love it. I love it.
Always doing one. That's Coach Gogue. That's why I sit back. I ain't got it because Coach Gogue gonna get it going.
He gonna get it going.
Coach Gogue gonna like that bonfire.
Yeah. You know, and unfortunately, like once again, guys, we apologize for technical difficulties, but yeah, Coach Gogue, he gives it to you Florida style, brother. I mean, he's going to give it to you straight, and there's no other way around it. Once again, it's so reminiscent of Emmanuel Stewart. You know, whether you liked it or not, boy, he was going to give it to you. We also want to welcome our brother Frank to the podcast.
What's up, Joseph?
Oh, how are you doing? And thank you for joining us in the wee hours of the evening, sir.
Yeah, Coach had me, what's the thing, hooked.
Yeah, Coach is an amazing guy. Coach is an amazing guy. And
he really is. He really is.
Yeah, he's been through everything. Like, once again, he's been in this business for 5 decades. Yeah, since the 80s. So, I tell you what, want to also add our brother Poodle to the panel. Poodle, how are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm doing. What's going on with everybody on the panel? What's up, Beans?
What's up, Pete?
Big P in the building.
What up, Rosai? What's going on? What's up, Frank?
So what would you guys like to address this evening, guys?
My boy Piro want to talk about King Rye.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's do it. Hey, how was your experience there when they were shooting Creed 3? And I loved it. You know
I
what?
thought it was
Honestly,
pretty cool. Actually, I didn't know about that until I walked in and they're Michael B. Jordan was like, instructing the audience. I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah, it's a great experience, man. And once again, it's the majesty of boxing. How many movies are being made on UFC turf?
Not much.
Nope, there it is. Guys, once again, people, fans, plebeians, mainstream and casual audience members, they want to love boxing. We just have to give them a good product. That's all.
I agree.
It's the stories, guys. It's the backstories. It's the history. It's the drama.
Yeah.
Okay, UFC can't boast, okay, the Bronze Bomber, the original Bronze Bomber, Joe Louis, fighting Max Schmeling before World War II. They can't boast that. That's boxing, baby.
I'll die on that hill, Joseph.
There it is. And there it is, brother. There's nothing like when boxing is at its best. There's nothing more breathtaking. There's nothing better.
I'll add one. There's nothing like a fight. Nothing will stop people wherever you're at like a fight. Everybody wants to see a fight. Who doesn't want?
That's it.
When you watch these LA Ram games, you see all the fan fights. Those are hilarious.
Okay, so here it is, guys. This is a very important question. I want to get your opinions, all of you guys. This is from our brother Joey Chaz, who always has the positive sentiment of the day. Sarcastically saying, thank you for joining us and sticking with us, Joey. He says, Joseph, what's more important these days, paydays or belts? And I'm assuming you mean for the health of the sport, right? Now, when you say paydays, do you mean the fights that generate the big money? Or do you mean a fighter's inflated purse? I'm going to assume that you mean the big money fights, right? Because once again, Ryan, boy, he was on a roll. He said, you know what? Belts don't matter. This is the biggest money fight in boxing, at least one of them. Okay, this is the one, like when I walk down the street and I interact with everyone, okay, no one brings up Devin Haney, but everyone brings up Gervonta Davis. So in your mind, I'll start with Young Bill. We're going to go clockwise, right? Young Bill, what's more important, big money fights or ones that determine who the best fighters are in the division?
In my opinion, of course, it's what fights matter in the division. But to a fighter, if I'm in their shoes and they prize fighting, Joe, I mean, I may not like it, but I understand. I mean, why if you could fight Tank for a big pay-per-view, why would you fight somebody for less money? It's prize fighting.
No, what's better for the health of the sport?
Oh, you got is Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis going to is that going to be bad for the sport? Because you still have two undefeated fighters and fans want to see knockouts, Joe. So to me, I think Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis would be big for the sport.
Yep. It's hard to argue with that. Right side, what say you, my friend? What's more important for the health of the sport? Big money fights or undisputed title fights?
Hey, Joe, kick me off my soapbox if I get on one, okay? Kick me off of it quick.
No. Go ahead, sir, as you were. Floor is yours.
This is the thing. In my personal opinion, if fighters wouldn't sit here and say belts didn't matter, you know what I'm saying, then the fights for the belts would be the big money fights. The problem is so many fighters have found a way to skirt that as far as saying we're putting asses in seats. And in my personal opinion, I think that the belts still should matter, because if they matter as much as I think they should matter, then I feel like fighters would go after those belts, and the top individuals in those divisions would have the belts, and then they would be fighting against each other for the belts. You know what I'm saying? And the same way with EJ and Bud right now, yeah, it was a big fight. It was always going to be a big fight, but like Bud said, this is the prime time because it's for everything. You know what I'm saying? So I think the belts have to matter. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the health of the sport, you know what I'm saying? The paydays will be there if everybody felt the same way about the belts and attacked it and went for those belts and then fought each other to see who was really the top dog. I think that both things can be true at the same time.
Well, yeah, both things can be true at the same time in the situation of Spence versus Crawford. Right. And both things can be true at 175, Beterbiev versus Bivol. But when you look at lightweight and 140, okay, I'm sorry. Well, once again, let's go. I'll give you my final thought in just a minute. Frank, excuse me, Frank.
Right.
What's more important to you, sir? What's more important to the health of the sport?
And
Big
again,
money fights or undisputed title fights, sir?
I'm gonna die on this island. This sword is big money fights. And here's an example. I was at a fight party. It was Mayweather Gotti. And Max Kellerman told the truth. He said, folks, this is the biggest mismatch of pay-per-view we've ever seen. You know when he said that again? Lewis Tyson. He says it again. Why would you say that? Because the guys they're fighting, Gotti and Ward, were fighters. That's what people want to see. And they'll always have a place in boxing. Sweet Pea Whitaker, best fighter I seen growing up. Benito Lopez. People forget about him.
Tell you what, that's very well said. Boodle, your thoughts, sir?
Yes, sir.
What's better for the health of the sport, sir?
Well, actually, this is an excellent question. And I'll tie it to the 135 division. I think right now at this present time, the biggest fight that can be made, the one that get the hardcores and the casuals, to go to the fights and actually watch it is Tank and Ryan. But also, you got to realize that at that current division that we have Devin Haney. He's the undisputed champion. But at the end of the day, like if the fight against Kambosos versus Devin for the undisputed title would have been held, say, at the Dignity Health Sports Park, would it have sold out like it did in Australia? Like, how many people wanted to see that particular fight? If that fight wasn't for the belts, who would have wanted to see that fight? You get what I'm saying? And then how certain I'm not gonna say certain, how all the sanctioning bodies kind of break their own rules. They kind of dilute the power of the belts. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, at the end of the day, as a boxer, obviously you don't want, if you're good at anything, you're not going to want to do it for free. So obviously the big fight is what's most important to the health of the sport. But also from the fighter's perspective, even the fan's perspective, I mean, traditionally when you earn the belt, or you earn belts, you're one of the best in that particular division. But apparently, I mean, for me, and I would say for a lot of fans, it just kind of feels like the guy in some divisions, the guy with the belts is not necessarily the best in the division. I don't know. It's kind of the way the belts are kind of look like how the sanctioning bodies are doing are moving the rankings, mandating certain fights. It's almost like the belts are more like marketing tools more than anything.
That's a very, very good point, Young Bill.
As you were sanctioning bodies, Joe. There's too many sanctioning bodies, so the belts are kind of watered down as it is. So I just feel like, I mean, now when you go for undisputed like Jamel and Castaño, that was a hell of a fight, Joe.
It sure was. Yep.
That was a hell of a fight. But do you think? And this is not no offense, but how many new fans do you think? And it's not to disrespect Devin Haney and Kambosos, but that was less viewed than Teofimo. I mean, in ESPN. When you look at the numbers, that was less viewed than Teofimo and Lomachenko by 2 million, Joe?
Yep. By over 2 million. Yes.
By over 2 million? That's what I'm saying. And he went to Australia, and that was on prime time, Saturday night, and it still was viewed by 2 million people less. And so when you look at it, sometimes the belts, do they draw in the same? I mean, and that was an undisputed fight. So don't you think it should have had a higher viewership? And it's not like it wasn't marketed. ESPN did put marketing dollars behind it. I don't know. I mean, fighters are bigger than belts.
Well, once again, guys, and ultimately what matters most is the sentiment of the real bosses of boxing. Okay? That's what matters the most, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And once again, I ask all of you, do you really need any sanctioning organization to tell you who the best fighters in any one division are? Now, let me ask you this. Do you consider Devin Haney to be the best fighter at 135 pounds? Now, be honest, guys.
Now,
do you see him better? Do you see him? Do you rate him higher than Lomachenko? Do you rate him higher? And don't just say because of the undisputed champion and the ring recognized champion at this time. Head-to-head matchups. Do you favor him over Tank Davis?
No, I don't favor him over
Do you
Tank.
favor him over Vasil Lomachenko?
I favor him over both of those guys.
50-50 with Loma.
¿Por qué, sir? Why?
I favor him over both guys, in my
¿Por
opinion.
qué? Why?
I think that the length, the range, the boxing ability, the footwork that Devin Haney brings against Gervonta Tank Davis and against Lomachenko, we saw against Teofimo Lopez. We saw Lomachenko when he wasn't able to exploit those angles. He struggled in the fight. With Gervonta Tank Davis, if he's not able to stop you, you know what I'm saying, then we've seen him lose rounds. And I think that, this is just my opinion, I think Dev has the ability, you know what I'm saying, to handicap both of them and to make it a very difficult fight and to beat both of those guys. I favor Dev to win both of those fights.
Frank, what say you, brother?
I had actually originally said that Tank would stop Devin Haney. That's my take. But it's 50-50.
Oh, it's a great fight, nonetheless. Yes, absolutely. Look, Haney's no walk in the park for anyone. Not Lomachenko, not Ryan Garcia, not Tank Davis. Okay? But do you favor him over those guys?
If he has a perfect night, yeah. I mean, he has to be perfect. Well, we talked about B-Vol. Remember, we had a conversation like B-Vol.
Well, let's stick to 35 and 40 at this time.
Right, but I'm using the example as who's the best boxer in that division is Devin Haney. I don't think is in close right now.
Really? Better than Lomachenko?
Well, we haven't seen Lomachenko just based on past, like the most recent, what's fresh in our minds.
Okay. He fought. It hasn't even been a year since he fought last.
Yeah.
Okay, and he fought Nakatani and just beat the brakes off of him.
He fought Comey. He fought Comey in December.
Yeah, and he fought Nakatani last June.
That's right. He fought Comey in December. He fought him last, didn't he?
He fought Nakatani last June and fought Comey in December.
That's right. You're absolutely right,
Joseph,
guys. Thank you.
I'm split because I don't like Haney's style, and so I am biased.
No, well, at least you're honest, brother.
I was the hugest Tito Trinidad, but I said, man, Winky Wright is probably gonna beat him. That's how I look at Devin. Like, we used to hate Winky Wright, but you knew, man, if he has an on night, he's beating anybody. There's nobody who could have beat Winky Wright on an on night.
Winky Wright. I love Winky Wright is one of my all-time favorite boxers, bro. All-time favorite.
He stunk the joint out a few times. I mean, he wasn't the most exciting guy. A guy had to bring it to him. But that's how I look at Devin Haney.
He was the Tim Duncan of boxing, is what Winky Wright was.
So
and
I can't stand
you had
Devin.
to respect him. Yeah,
I can't stand him, but on night, he's gonna beat anybody.
Puro, what say you, brother?
This, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, Young Bill. Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. If you're not gonna open up on Tank Davis, he gonna stop you. If you fight him like and I know people say he's not gonna fight him like he fights Kambosos. If you think that Tank Davis is not gonna get up under that jab and allow you to clinch him for 12 rounds.
Yeah, but that's why I compared Haney and Tank to Bivol better Biev. It's going to be kind of like what you're saying. He's going to eventually have to fight.
I think, honestly, Frank, with all due respect, sir, I think Bivol Beterbiev is a much closer 50-50 fight than that. I see Tank Davis actually closing that distance and unleashing, uncorking a can of whoop ass.
Yeah,
on Haney and eventually stopping it. Once again, this guy doesn't have the best, and that's not taking anything away from Haney. But look, Tank Davis, not only is he a complete fighter and a very defensively responsible fighter, okay, with a deep amateur background, just like Devin Haney, but he's got the ultimate neutralizer. Unless you can match his power, unless you can get his respect, best of luck.
And he has that awkward southpaw angle where
my heart is for Tank. Because I like his style, he's action, he gets the KO. But my mind is like battling, like, man, but Haney on his best night is gonna be very tough to beat.
Oh no, he's tough for anybody, man. He's tough for anybody. He's gonna win rounds on Tank. I mean, because he has a great jab, and
I'm not giving a straight answer, but I'm just trying to.
He has great skills. He has a great jab, and he has a great ring IQ. But
okay, tell you what, let's consult Puro, our brother Puro. Now, once again, Haney is right now the undisputed lightweight champion and the ring-recognized lineal lightweight champion. But do you actually rate him to be the best fighter at 135 right now, currently?
Do not.
Who do you rate higher than him?
Lomachenko and Tank.
So once again, guys, this is my point for bringing this up. Guys, the real bosses of boxing, their sentiment matters most. If the fights they want to see don't coincide with the sanctioned organizations, who's right? Do we need the titles? Do we need the sanctioned organizations to tell us who the best fighter in any division is? No. We don't need them. Okay, we don't need them. So once again, what's the bigger money fight? And why is it the bigger money fight? Why is Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia the bigger money fight? The biggest money fight you could potentially make at 35 and 40. Why? Because it's what the fans want.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, but the diehard who isn't financially supporting the sport any longer, does anyone even consider what their voice is at this time?
You know what it is, Joseph, and I seen this today. The hate for Garcia is so intense and deep. It's actually irrational because it never has to do anything with boxing related.
Well, let me ask you something: is that good or bad for boxing? The health of the sport,
as long as it brings eyeballs.
Well, yes, it's great. Once again, we need these polarized personalities.
Yeah,
like the fact that they're emotionally invested to the point where they actually love or hate him.
Yeah,
guys, that's a great thing for the sport.
Hate,
a great thing for Ryan.
I can't stand him. What is he doing? It's like, what? Did you watch it? Yeah. It's like, there you go.
So once again, guys, Ryan Garcia has the beat at this time.
Right.
He's got the beat. He's got the big picture in mind. He's like, you know what? Screw the belts, man. Who cares?
And he said the right shit too. He said, "I'm gonna beat Tank's ass."
Yep. You know, that's it. So once again, creating that demand, further creating that demand, and he said it, and I quoted him at the outset of the show. He says, "You know what? No one, everywhere I go, no one ever mentions Devin Haney to me, but everywhere I go, people consistently bring up Gervonta Davis. What does that tell you?
The belts don't matter."
Exactly. So who gives a shit? And I know these purists are going to say, well, that still doesn't determine who the best fighter at 35 is.
And
who cares?
But at the same time, it has, in this situation, only this situation, I'm not saying every situation. In this situation, it comes down to the exciting styles that they have. And so, although we would say that Tank and Ryan, and I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not disagreeing one bit that it's the biggest fight at 35. My problem with that is
40.
Okay, I'll give you 42. I'll give you that. It's the biggest fight there. My problem with that is that I can name a handful of fighters, in my opinion, at those two weight divisions that I think would beat both of those guys, in my opinion. Maybe not a handful, probably a handful for Ryan, probably 3 guys for Tank. But at the same time, as a purist of the sport, and like you said, Joe, the purist, I don't know how much my opinion really matters anymore. That's a fact. I'm pretty sure my shit don't matter. Even though I'm gonna support the sport regardless, I'm gonna buy all that shit. I'm gonna buy it. But at the same time, being a fan of the sport, bro, I look at certain fighters and I we all do it. We matchmaking our heads, or we look at the styles that they have and how we think the fights will come out. And I think it's a couple guys that'll beat both of those guys, Ryan and Tank.
Okay, in your mind, who are they?
At 35 and 40, correct?
Yep,
just
40.
35.
Okay, no. Look, Ryan already said he's never competing again at 35, and we told you this, guy. We told you this was going to happen, right? So once again, let's just limit it to 40. Okay? Do you want me to rattle off a who's who at 40?
Rattle them off.
Regis, Ramirez, Taylor.
But Regis, I think Regis beats Tank and Ryan. I think Antoine Russell beats Tank and Ryan. Outside of those two guys at 40, I don't think
T.O. is that 40.
No, I think Tank can beat T.O. I think Ryan can beat T.O. in my opinion. This is just my opinion.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to go up and down the top 15. Okay,
go ahead.
All right, Mario Barrios, Brandon Lee, Victor Postal, Jose Pedraza, Ermias Ponce, Montana Love, Surreal Matias, Arnold Barbosa Jr., Gary Antoine Russell, Okay, Ryan Garcia obviously is now just entered 140 because just competed at 140. He's at number 7. Jose Zepeda, Regis Prograis, Sandor Martin, Jack Catterall, Jose Ramirez, and Josh Taylor.
Ryan Garcia stops Montana Love, Joe.
Yep.
Facts. He knocked his ass cold.
He'll knock Montana Love the fuck out.
Respect.
Very difficult question to answer, to be honest.
And once again, that's the majesty of boxing. We've got to see this shit play out. But my point is, can you confidently say that this guy beats both Tank and Ryan?
No, I can't.
Anyone on that top 15 that I just rattled off, can you confidently say that these guys beat both Tank and Ryan?
I'm a big fan of Brandon Lee, and I can't say it, Joe. I'm a big fan of Regis. I can't say it, Joe. Especially with Regis, getting up there in age a little bit. Kind of, he had a good performance last time, but he's kind of not had not many rounds in the last couple years. He's kind of fizzled out since the Josh Taylor fight. He's still looking good.
What about
I can't definitively say he's gonna beat Tank, and I can't definitively say I can't.
So you can't say Antoine Russell beats both of those guys?
He might be the only one.
Oh, he asked for one. That's why he only asked for one.
Okay, once again, can you say confidently that he beats both Ryan and Tank?
If I had money in either one of those fights, well, I got money, but if I'm putting money on either one of those fights, I'm betting Antoine Russell for both of those fights.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Right side, I'm going to give you a piece of advice from my brother, my mentor, right, Don Warwick-Chargan. Don't get too high on a prospect until you see how well he can take a punch. Have we ever seen Gary Antoine Russell face adversity of any kind?
Nope, we have not.
So I'm telling you, don't get too high on a prospect until you see how well he can handle adversity.
Okay? But have we seen Ryan Garcia handle adversity?
Yeah, he got dropped before. Yes, he got dropped.
And Antoine Russell is a much better fighter than Luke Campbell.
Are you sure about that? He's a former Olympian.
I am positive about that.
Okay, so once again, how's his level of competition been up to this point?
All
right. So once again, what you're saying is then you're reaffirming this that you don't know, right?
This is a problem too.
Okay, so once again, hold on. Hold on, right side. I'm going to pose this question to you. Has he ever faced as big of a puncher as Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia?
No.
There you have it. So you cannot confidently say that he beats both Ryan Garcia or Tank Davis. And why? Because we have no idea whether or not he can take a punch. Did he find out against Victor Postal?
I can confidently say it because I think that the style that he brings to the table is gonna. This is just my opinion. So
you said I think.
And there it is.
I'm going off the confidence of my opinion.
Oh, okay, well, very good. So I tell you what, let's pass this along. And right side, we respect. Once again, there are no right or wrong answers until we see how that plays out in the ring. And look, there's no debating. Gary Antoine Russell is one of the best prospects in boxing at this time. He seems to be the total package. But once again, no, don't raise that flag. He could be another Erickson Lubin. We don't know at this time. He could be another Julian Williams. We don't know at this time. The verdict's still out. Okay? Frank.
Yes.
Who confidently beats? Who can you say confidently beats Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia at 140 at this time?
At 140, right now, just looking at it, Josh Taylor.
Oh, boy. Okay, there's a moment of silence there, a collective moment of silence after that. And why? Because Josh Taylor looked like absolute dog shit against Jack Catterall, almost as if he forgot how to fight. If he brings that level of bullshit to either Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia, they flatten his ass. Right. They flatten his ass. And there's no debating that.
Joseph, people counted out Eric Morales, Champions have that's why you said it yourself, the heart of a champion.
Okay, so once again, how old was he when they counted him out?
He must have been already 30 something.
Yeah,
right?
And there it is. And once again, you're talking about Eric Morales, an all-time great. Okay, so we'll give you a pass for that, Frank.
Pass.
God bless you, my friend. But
He's
let's
got the
move on.
movement and the power.
Look, Eric Morales. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
He's got the movement and the power.
Now, are you talking about Josh Taylor or Eric Morales?
No, you're counting out because of how he looked, but I'm saying,
No. It's almost like he forgot how to fight. Look, and look, I'll give him a pass. I'll say that he was celebrating a little too much, a la Roberto Duran. Not that he's even in that same category, but I'll say that he is celebrating a little too much after becoming undisputed champion after beating decisively.
You
Jose
actually
Ramirez.
kind of a loaded question because I would say Tio, but he's unproven. So just based off looking at the stats and the numbers, Ramirez, they both got way more ability than Ramirez. So that's why I said Taylor as being the best, and I still think is the best at that weight.
And there it is. That's the opinion of Frank. Much respected, brother. Puro! Who do you see beaten decisively at 140? Ryan Garcia or Tank Davis? Do you see anyone in that laundry list beat both those guys decisively?
This is another excellent question. Even though Tank and Ryan are my favorite fighters currently, Ryan, it's hard to even answer that question for Ryan because Ryan still has not fought a legitimate 140 pounder. His last two fights, which the to-go fight was I think still a lightweight fight, but they fought at that catch weight because
139,
they both been off for so long they negotiated that weight so they could fight. And then in the case of Fortuna didn't think he had enough time to cut down to 135, so they decided to make the fight at 140. So those two dudes that he fought, technically, or you can make an argument they fought at Fortuna, they definitely fought at 140. They're still lightweights.
Yep.
Ryan Garcia, there's for me, there's no way I can to answer that question for Ryan. Tank has already fought Mario Barrios at 140.
Yep.
So that question I think is a good question for in the case of Tank Davis. I rate Tank high. To beat him decisively, I couldn't pick anybody.
Hold on, Puro. I'm gonna put this right here, brother.
Yes, that's my brother, El Pinche Punch. What up, Punch?
Ah, Pinche Punch.
I was getting to it, Punch. I was getting to it.
So, is it a push? Are you actually passing on the answer?
I'm passing on the answer for Ryan because to me, there's no way to. If he hasn't fought a 140 pounder, how can I answer that question? And then for Tank, he already has. So I'm gonna say nobody can decisively. I can say can decisively can beat him.
Okay, well, I've got a very interesting question for you, young Bill. Our brother Blacklight says Frank Martin would F Ryan up. What say you, sir?
Shit, I'm very high on Frank Martin, Joe. I'm very high, but shit, fuck Ryan up. That's tough.
Yeah.
I can't defend him.
Look, guys. It becomes a very, very different scenario when you're faced with that kind of brutish power. Yes, he's very unrefined, and yes, he's still a work in progress. But things change very dramatically and very suddenly when you're faced with someone who has that kind of power standing across the ring from you.
And can I make another excellent point? Can I make it? Well, at least can I make another point about Frank Martin?
We'll be the judge of whether or not it's an excellent point, brother.
That's what I was going to say. Frank Martin has never had to make 135 pounds, so that's telling as well.
I'm sorry, who?
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin has never had to make 135 pounds yet.
Yeah, his last two, or I think his last three fights was above the weight limit. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They've all been above the weight limit.
Well, this is a guy, admittedly, who actually campaigned as a welterweight in the amateurs. Right? That was he most recently campaigned as a welterweight in the amateurs, beating in the USA Boxing Golden Gloves, right? He beat Virgil Ortiz to win the Golden Gloves. Right? That's how big this kid is, and that's how hard he punches. That's what a big kid he is. You know, he's not the tallest guy in the division, but yeah, he's wide. He's strong. He's physically imposing, right? So
he's not there yet, but I see it. And Frank Martin's a good fighter.
Yep, Frank Martin is has a very high ceiling indeed. So there it is, guys. But look, fact of the matter is, and let's just go back to our original topic. Look, I don't care what anyone says. Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is the biggest fight that you could make at 35 or 40. It's bigger than Lomachenko versus Haney. Okay? That there's just no debating that, guys. Can you name a bigger fight than that at this time at 35 or 40?
Nope, not off the top of my head.
Argue that point, though. I don't think anybody ever argued that that's the biggest. Matter of fact, I said, and I rock with Dev, but I say that that's the biggest fight right now as far as fanfare goes. You feel me?
Well, the purists disagree. I think that's where Ford's coming from, if I'm not mistaken.
And I look at myself as a purist, so I'm maybe I'm not.
There's levels, degrees. I mean, you could be, full hardcore or liberal in your purism.
I'm very for my purism.
Okay, so where young Bill and I, and well, maybe I should just speak for myself. So where I differ, right? All I cared about is the health of the sport. Okay, what creates superstars in the sport,
yes.
right? Okay,
yes.
So what's more beneficial to the health of the sport?
A Ryan Garcia victory.
Well, I don't know about victory, but Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, that does wonders for the health of the sport. Yeah. That's something that is on the lips of most casual and mainstream fans, sports fans, when this fight, if that fight is made, okay? Mm-hmm. That's something that, like, if that fight is made and it gets that promotion, that's something that if you're standing in the aisle of a grocery store, you can turn to the guy behind you and say, dude, who's going to win, Gervonta Davis or Ryan Garcia? And more than likely, they'll actually have an opinion.
I did this. I was at a hotel yesterday, and I was on H Money show, and kind of on mute, walking out the hotel, and there were two guys walking in. I just kind of stopped and asked them. I was like, man, do y'all follow the sport of boxing? Both of them, they say yeah, but you could tell, they're going to say yes, of course, but you could tell they really don't know the sport like we know the sport, right?
Of course.
And so then I was like, man, what fight would you rather see right now? Would you rather see Tank versus Devin? Would you rather see first, my first question was, what's the biggest fight in boxing? And they gave me some other shit about I don't know what. And then I was like, no, it's Bud versus Spence. That's the biggest fight right now. But at 135, are y'all familiar with Devin Haney, Tank, Ryan Garcia, Lomachenko? Are y'all familiar with them fighters? And they were like, yeah, we're familiar with them. And I was like, so what do y'all think the biggest fight would be right now? And one of the guys was like, oh, it's definitely going to be Tank versus Ryan. I was like, okay, cool. The other guy was like, man, ain't Devin Haney, ain't he undisputed? And I was like, yeah, he undisputed. He was like, well, I think him and Tank, that should be the next fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say that people don't know. I'm just going off of just a random opinion that I pulled. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's an interesting debate, but I do think that Tank versus Ryan Garcia right now is, as far as casuals go, as far as the health of the sport goes, I can agree that that's the biggest fight in boxing, or the biggest fight at 135 or 40. I can agree with that.
I mean, just on the fight being made, it'll make the sport look better because it'll show that two rival promoters can work.
And there it is. And so this is the most likely, if you're talking about two different promoters, two different platforms actually working together. Here's a better question, or no, this probably like settles everything. Could you see two rival promoters and two rival networks working together for any other matchup at 35 and 40?
I don't know, man. I don't got faith in them. Hey, so, Joe, can I give y'all my secret?
Secret of what, sir?
So I said that Devin Haney and Kambosos, that fight would never be made, right? And it got made. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe that the Tank Davis fight and Ryan Garcia will ever get made. I don't believe EJ and Bud gonna ever get made either. Hopefully.
Well, I tell you what, Devin Haney, guys, should send a nice fruit basket for Christmas this year to Vladimir Putin, because that's the only reason why he got that Kambosos fight. And that's the only reason why he's the current undisputed lineal lightweight champion at this time.
Yeah. You're probably right.
No, that's the reality.
Agreed. 100% agreed. So going back to the question, are these promotional brands going to make cross promotional fights? I hope so.
Well,
but
and here's the reason why this is the most hopeful, because there's actually gold at the end of that rainbow. You can't say that about any matchup concerning Devin Haney. Now, once again, this is not a knock on Devin Haney. It's just the reality. Okay, and once again, you may not like what I'm saying, but facts really don't give a shit about how you feel.
Well, in my rationale,
it's not going to change what the fact is. I'm sorry, as you were, sir.
Oh no, just to add to that point is that if Devin Haney, he should be rooting for that fight and a Ryan Garcia win, because that'll be his biggest money fight, just like Oscar was always everybody's biggest money fight.
What I think was really embarrassing for Devin Haney, and DAZN, they were kind enough to feature him on the panel to discuss and provide commentary after the fight. What do you think? What did you think of Ryan's performance? That sort of thing. But realistically, did anyone there really give a shit what he thought?
You know what? I had that same impression, to be honest.
Honestly, I felt bad for Devin. He's a small fish in a big pond. And that's a damn shame. So once again, it's like, hey guys, this is a business. This is a business first and foremost, and it's entertainment. Okay? And if the fans don't think you're entertaining, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to make to get a push.
Exactly. What are you going to do about it? Okay, guys, it's already at the 2 hour and 30-minute mark, so we're going to actually bid everyone an excellent evening. Young Bill, do you have any parting shots for everyone who's joined us tonight? And I want to thank everyone for hanging with us. Do you have any parting shots for everyone in the listening audience?
Oh, yeah, just keep working, man. Look, I got a big week coming ahead of me. So, we got a big week coming. So, yeah, just stay tuned. And, yeah, we're going to keep growing and keep working, man, to keep building the sport that we love. And it's always good for open dialogue. And, everybody has a freedom of their opinion as far as a boxing opinion goes and who they believe is the best and all that. But we, like you said, Joe, none of us know until we see him in the ring. Simple as that.
That's it. Very well said, Young Bill. And I tell you what, I want to thank Poodle, Right Side, and Frank for sharing the air with us tonight.
Thank you.
Also want to give a big shout out to the incomparable Coach James Gogue for all of his pearls of wisdom tonight. And guys, in case you missed any part of this show, it's going to be available as soon as you sign off. But guys, on behalf of Young Bill, Right Side, Frank, Poodle, everyone in the chat, as well as Coach Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Back a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass him be. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and pimp speed. On a mission for them greens. Lean, mean, money making machines serving fiends.
FightSaga.com presents War Week Radio chats with boxing scribe Joseph Heron and former prizefighter Young Billion.